Diego, it's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the Gaslamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime year.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Thursday to everybody out there in America's finest city. A beautiful day. Another beautiful February day, Frank. Another beautiful February day. It's like springtime. Winter is almost over, and we didn't even get that much winter. It's great. Love it. Love it. Sure, you'll get some of that in March. Some gloominess for you.
It's only a couple days away.
It's a beautiful Thursday out there in America's finest city. We are glad that you are spending part of your days with part of our day with you.
We're glad that someone's spending time with somebody.
Yeah, there you go. We're glad that you have tuned into our show. We really appreciate that. I got home late last night because we went to the Ducks game and Interstate 5 is always shut down. So that's always fun. Aha! That's right. Did you play the whole thing this time?
More or less, yeah. Hey, it's been a long time.
We haven't heard from Ben Afquack
weeks.
in a long time. Yeah, I went up to the Ducks game last night. That was a heck of a hockey game that we're going to talk about later. But that being said, it's exciting. It's an exciting morning for not only Padres fans, but Aztec fans after last night. What a game, what a game, what a game for San Diego State. That is exactly what the Aztecs needed to do. They didn't really have much choice in the matter. It was, you need to respond or your season is over. The urgency was delivered and the statement was made last night for San Diego State. I mean, at one point during the Ducks game, I looked down at my phone and I saw that the Aztecs had a 22-point lead on Utah State. Go back and watched it after. And the Aztecs, I mean, they didn't just beat Utah State. They just completely overwhelmed the Aggies. 89-72 final at Viejas Arena. 2-game losing streak has been snapped. And now first place tie in the Mountain West Conference with 3 games to go. The season is back in their hands. And maybe more importantly, their identity showed up again. I mean, this is a team that did not have, when they went up to Logan, they almost were able to knock off Utah State in Logan, but they had some guys out that had played at altitude. I mean, I don't want to make a lot of excuses for what they did up there, but what a great Aztecs game last night for San Diego State. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. They needed that. They needed that in a big way. It wasn't just about urgency last night, but they showed the urgency. After the frustrating losses, Grand Canyon, Colorado State, the message all week was urgency, pride, toughness, and they delivered. They built a 46-33 halftime lead. They pushed the margin to 24 in the second half. They shot 60.9% in the second half. +8 rebounding margin after being crushed on the boards in Logan. 40-plus bench points, 10th time this year. This wasn't survive and advance win. This was a tone setter for the Aztecs. Brian Dutcher called it their most complete game of the season, and that matters because they needed that in a huge way. And you know what? Big round of applause to the San Diego to the show. Big round of applause. We appreciate you guys waking up last night. It was great. It was great. But anyway, good for the Aztecs. Good for the students. Way to show up last night. Way to be pesky. Way to be annoying. Aztecs basketball, that's a huge win for San Diego State. We're going to talk more about that as the show goes on, to have a deeper dive into the game. We're going to look at the metrics right now. But just overall, Frank, because I know as soon as that game ended, you were just zonked out. Yeah. But that is exactly what they needed to do, and they did it in a huge way. I don't know how. I can't explain how bigger this is. How more, how much of a big deal this game was for the Aztecs. And not only did they win, I mean, winning would have been fine. They dominated last night, really improved their metrics.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what we talked about yesterday. You saw them lose on the tarmac for a reason, and this was the reason, to show you that they were beatable. They've only got 5 losses now this season. This is a beatable team, and they went out and they did exactly what they needed to do. They had a chance. They did not squander it. They took it. They took everything out of it that they could have possibly got out of it, which is definitely a redeeming quality that we have seen this season. They were given a chance and they took it. They did not let it pass them by.
That's a big win for the Aztecs. The problem is, again, the conference doesn't help you out. I mean, you have to try to rack up a couple more quad 1 wins. And right now, if you pull up the numbers, I mean, they went up 1 spot in the net. It's not overly, they weren't gonna catapult at this point in its year. You're not going to jump massive spots. You're just right now, that win is huge they finally got an extra quad 1 game that they needed. They jumped up 1 spot from where they were yesterday, but that's a couple more spots than what they were earlier in the week. Aztecs now 18-8 overall in terms of beating D1 teams, because that's all that really matters to me, because that's all they look at when they look at the overall metrics. But New Mexico's going to be a quad 1 game on the road. Boise State's going to be a quad 1 game on the road. They have to do well on Saturday at New Mexico, a place that is tough to play. And New Mexico has their backs against the wall right now after losing to Nevada. And then they got Boise State on Tuesday, March 3rd. That's another must-win game for the Aztecs. They have to win those next 2 because it gives them 2 additional quad 1 wins. I mean, to be 4-5 in quad 1 would be a lot better than obviously being 1-5, right? They have to, especially with the teams they're playing against and competing against for the bubble. We're going to talk about the bubble in just a second, coming up in the next segment. But I look at another team that's on the bubble, I can see it because I watch them play all the time. My alma mater, they have 4 wins in quad 1, and they still have more quad 1 opportunities. San Diego State has to up their quad 1 games here in the final 3 games of the year, because 2 of them are going to be quad 1 games. Then UNLV is going to be a quad 2 or quad 3 game. And it's not going to be that much of a helper, but these next 2, utterly important. It was great for the Aztecs to get that big win over Utah State. And again, I said it yesterday. Yeah, you want to try to play your way into an at-large. I mean, the Aztecs' chances, what did we say yesterday? I think their chances in an at-large bid was like 20%. Frank, does that seem right? Maybe it was
right
less
around
than that.
There, yeah.
It jumped up to 45% after they won last night. So again, like the net, they jumped up 1 spot in the net. Ken Palm, all that stuff. The real reason why they improved their chances of being a at-large team in the NCAA tournament was because they got another quad 1 win. And they needed that. They needed that in a big way. Let's talk more about what happened in the game last night. Reese Dixon-Waters, he really set the tone. He really set the tone last night. He had a game high, 20 points, 15 in the first half, 3 of 6 from 3, and he did it early in the contest. He scored 10 straight in the first 2.5-minute stretch that flipped a tight game into a double-digit lead. Last time in Logan, he got hurt late. San Diego State faded, couldn't get the job done, and they were missing guys before Reese Dixon-Waters got hurt. This time he stayed upright and he closed out. He closed the game out. That's exactly the performance you wanted to see out of Reese Dixon-Waters when you found out he was coming back after missing last year with an injury. He was great. The return of the starters changed everything too. You didn't have to worry about altitude. Weren't missing Magoon Guath. You weren't missing LZ Harrington. Guath had 7 first-half points. He had a buzzer-beating 3, interior presence. Harrington, back in rhythm, defensive energy, and Farrell Compton and Ty Simmons provided bench muscle, and it looked like a complete roster again. They had the physical edge, too. Utah State coach Jared Calhoun said it plainly, the hungry team usually wins, the tougher team usually wins. He admitted that they had no want to defensively. That's not about the scheme. That's about will. And the Aztecs were the more physical team last night, the more aggressive team last night, the more emotionally engaged team last night. And Viejas Arena, as we mentioned, Frank, That was a lethal combination for San Diego State. That was vintage Aztec basketball. That was vintage playing at Viejas Arena, vintage hoops. Brian Dutcher, Steve Fisher era basketball. That's exactly what you expected out of this team all season long. The shame is they waited this long to do it. But that was exactly what you were thinking they were going to do all year, Frank.
Yeah, that was the home court advantage that you've been searching for all season. I mean, it really has not been there. Now the key for San Diego State is being able to keep it up. You got 2 road games coming up. You got New Mexico and then at Boise State. And then you're closing out the season against UNLV, which UNLV might not be one of those quad 1 games, but it's going to be just as important as the other 2, especially if you lose one of those 2 games. So they're really going to need to be on it, not just for these next couple of games, but when they get back home, the crowd is going to really need to be on it again.
They didn't let up at any point in time. Miles Bird was scoreless in the first half, but in the second half, he hit an immediate 3, then a layup, jumped out to a 51-33 lead. Game effectively over at that particular time. Farrell Compton said there was a conscious effort to not let their foot off the gas because earlier this year they have. That growth is important. You need that kind of performances in the Mountain West tournament. You need those performances in the NCAA tournament. We have seen way too many times in Aztec basketball over the last, I don't know how many years, them pull their foot off the gas and have teams just hang around and then sneak back into the game. They didn't do that last night. They need to grow and be able to not do that for really the rest of the season. Aztecs had not lost 3 straight games since January of 2018. The only program with a longer streak without a 3-game skid, Gonzaga, since 2011. That's the culture of Aztec basketball. That's the consistency. That's the expectation. But now comes the hard part. They got to win on the road. And these next couple games on the road are dangerous. They got to go to New Mexico, where the Lobos are 21-7 and dangerous at home. Then they got to go to Boise State after that. And that's not the finish line, but they got a couple more games left. And they got 3 games to go to try to win this conference outright and then hopefully have a decent appearance in the Mountain West Conference tournament. What's the bubble look like? What's everything updated? Well, the numbers for the Aztecs improved mightily yesterday. We'll explain more on who they're competing with for an at-large bid in the NCAA tournament when we come back as we continue on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. If you blinked this weekend, you probably missed a lot in local San Diego high school sports. Open Division basketball statement wins, wrestling, Masters drama, water polo, dynasties continuing, and spring sports officially underway. San Diego high school sports isn't just busy right now. It's defining who owns February and who's about to own the spring. And let's start in Solana Beach. I'll start with the boys basketball, and Frank's going to jump in with the girls basketball here. But Santa Fe Christian sends a message in front of a packed gym. Santa Fe Christian runs away from Cathedral Catholic High School, 82-53 in the Open Division quarterfinals. And once again, it was a haul. Dax Hall. He dropped 35 points, hitting from everywhere. Earlier this year, he had 42 against Cathedral. They just could not solve the Hall equation in the playoffs. Eagles hit 12 threes, only 4 turnovers, complete control. And now they host Francis Parker in the semifinals, and that feels like a de facto championship game because remember, Santa Fe Christian only has a couple of losses on the year. 2 of them are to Francis Parker. All 8 open teams do advance to the state regional, so it's not survive and advance. It's about seeding and momentum, and right now Santa Fe Christian looks like the most explosive team left. Should be a fun one against Francis Parker. Frank, what's going on in women's basketball?
Meanwhile, in San Marcos, 2-time defending champs Mission Hills survived a war with La Jolla County Day School, 53-46 game, tied 36-36 going into the fourth quarter. Freshman Maya Atkinson, averaging under 6 a game, scored 9 in the fourth quarter. She kept telling her coach all day, I'm ready for this. She absolutely was. Mission Hills hit 10 threes. La Jolla Country Day hit 3. That was the difference. Now Mission Hills heads to top-seeded Francis Parker. But here's what stood out. The open division on the girls' side might be deeper than we had expected because there were 2 big upsets. Grossmont knocked out Mater Dei Catholic, and Westview beat Cathedral Catholic. Now the bracket finds itself wide open.
Let's talk about wrestling. We talk about wrestling, usually talking about Poway. At Masters, Poway High School reminded everyone who the standard is. The Titans advanced all 14 wrestlers to the finals. They won 10. They scored over 400 team points. That's dominance. But one of the best stories came from Imperial High School. On his birthday, Noah Larios won his first Masters title at heavyweight, pinning his opponent with a 76-pound weight advantage and capping a steady climb from third to second to champion. Progression, development, also worth watching. Freshman battle at 106 between Granite Hills and Poway. That rivalry might define the next 4 years. State is coming in San Diego. We'll send some real contenders to the state level in wrestling. But girls water polo was finishing up some CIF championship games.
You said a 76-pound weight advantage?
Yeah, he did pretty good upset right there.
Yeah, no kidding, huh? To the pool. The Bishop School won its eighth consecutive Open Division title, 15th in 16 years, 8 straight. That is not just winning, that is institutional dominance. Meanwhile, Helix High School captured its first D1 title behind a 15-save performance in goal. Coronado, Scripps Ranch, new champions, new energy, water polo depth. See what I did there? In this section keeps growing.
Spring is here. We talked about lacrosse last week. We talked about track and field the week before. We're going to get to baseball and softball soon, but it's time for volleyball. Beach for the girls and indoor for the boys. Beach volleyball opened a couple of weeks ago with scrimmages, and guess who's chasing another one? That'd be Cathedral Catholic. The Dons have won all 3 Open Division titles since CIF sanctioned the sport. My heart might not be with the Dons as much as it might be with the Scripps Ranch Falcons. But anyway, Torrey Pines is chasing. Point Loma is loaded. La Jolla Beach Classic is coming up. And again, if you want to look at some of the big players, Scripps Ranch returns a lot of great players from last year's team that just won a D1 indoor championship. Right now, I'm looking at Torrey, Point Loma, Scripps Ranch, Cathedral Catholic on the open side. The Falcons of Scripps Ranch made it to the Open Division last season, so we'll see what Coach Byrne has in store for the Falcons over there at Scripps Ranch. I'm looking forward to seeing how they play. But on the indoor side, Cathedral has won the Open Division. Torrey Pines, Carlsbad, 3 different Open champs the last 3 years. Could someone new break through? Torrey Pines stacked again. Francis Parker has a 6'11" junior, and Kevin O'Brien. Bishops is deep. Spring might not have a clear king, and that makes it fun. Seems like it's pretty much wide open for the indoor for the boys, and everybody's chasing the Dons for beach volleyball. That's our look at the high school update for you. We'll mention softball and baseball next week. (10:18) on the Braden Surprenant Show on a Thursday here in America's finest city. We are broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. The Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We got a lot to get to again today as we are talking about Aztec basketball right now. We were talking about, we'll dive into some Padres baseball later on in the show. It's kind of, here's the thing with us too, with the Padres. We're in the weird stretch of like, we can live react to the actual spring training games. And so you're not going to really set up a spring training game. So a lot of the stuff that happened yesterday is stuff that we were watching in person. Like Michael King had a pretty good outing yesterday. Gave up the 1 home run, but he looked nasty a couple of times. Saw some of the offensive production there late. I mean, that was after we logged off for the day. We'll keep you updated on a lot of the great storylines throughout Major League Baseball and throughout the San Diego Padres camp. Now, let's get to the rest of this game from last night. I mean, again, we talked about the historical context of the Aztecs and not losing 3 games in a row and the road ahead. They got New Mexico at 11 a.m. on national television on Saturday against a dangerous team that they're competing with in the bubble. Same with Boise State after that. This game last night wasn't the finish line, but kind of the reset button to finish the last 3 games of the schedule. So, let's take a look at the tournament bubble watch. Chaos is coming to the NCAA tournament and the selection committee. We are under 3 weeks away from Selection Sunday, and it's not a normal bubble year. There are a lot of the teams at the top getting a lot of recognition. The SEC is projecting 10 to 11 bids. The Big Ten is hovering around 9. The ACC is clustered tightly around 6 to 8. Mountain West is fighting for 2 versus 3 potential teams in the NCAA tournament. Mid-majors begging for some respect. It's metrics versus wins. It's predictive rankings versus resume rankings. Power leagues versus deserving mid-majors. And the committee's going to have to choose what it values coming up in a couple of weeks. I find it funny that the Big 12 is like the best conference in all metrics, but the SEC is going to be the conference that gets 10 bids in. Maybe we should take this with a grain of salt when ESPN's putting this stuff out, Frank. What do you think about that?
Yeah, just a little bit,
10 bids? I mean, Florida, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, Tennessee are all locks, as they should be, but some bubble chaos with teams that are getting smoked by those schools who did not do well against other teams in other conferences. I mean, TCU came in here and beat Florida at the Rady's Children's Holiday Tournament. They're in the middle of the pack in the Big 12. They hammered Florida. But the SEC's got to get 10 teams in there? What a joke. What a joke. The SEC is deep, but it's not that deep. I mean, some of the teams have 9 to 11 losses. The quad 1 numbers are all, feeding off each other in that conference. I can't believe the SEC getting that many teams in it. And if they do, they're going to be a lot of early exits for those teams. I mean, it's every sport with them. Big Ten projected to get 9 bids. Their locks are Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Nebraska. Here's the bubble teams you got to worry about. Indiana's got a 60% chance of making the tournament. Ohio State's got a 58% chance. USC's getting a 20% chance. Ohio State is 1-10 in quad 1 games. I mean, this is again what you're competing with if you're an Aztec fan. You got to be better than a school like Ohio State, who's listed as a better percentage chance of getting into the NCAA tournament than you. And you look at the metrics they have, they're 1-10 in quad 1 games. The Aztecs are 2-5. I mean, 1-10. They have had 11 opportunities. Ohio State has. They have come up with 1 victory in quad 1 games. I know you got to play quad 1 games, but eventually you got to win quad 1 games. I don't get the Ohio State in over San Diego State thing right now. Their net's 39 because we play all these good teams. RPI is 55. Quad 1 games, 1-10 for Ohio State. Why? Because they beat UCLA at home? Because they beat Minnesota? Because they lost to Michigan by not that much? I mean, give me a break. 39 in the net. This is why you got guys like Doug Gottlieb saying that ranking is BS. He talking about Ken Palm? Ken Palm is BS. That's the Big Ten. Indiana just lost 3 straight games, by the way. Ohio State, as I mentioned, 1-10 in quad 1 games. USC's resume is outside the top 50. Those teams are hanging on for dear life, but those are teams that you're competing with. And it's going to come down to the committee and whether or not they think that the Aztecs deserve to be in over some of these big schools from big conferences. The influence is there. The influence is definitely there. I got to check what Joe Lenardi has, but apparently he's like the 120th best bracketologist out of the group. And he has not updated his seeding since last night, which that seems to be the case a lot for San Diego State. All right. ACC, they're kind of the soft middle in here. Duke, Virginia, North Carolina, Louisville, NC State are all going to make the NCAA tournament. The bubble cluster for the ACC. SMU, who's got an 89% chance getting in. Miami, 87% chance. Clemson, 90% chance. Cal, 35% chance. Virginia Tech, 26% chance. The ACC's middle tier doesn't have those elite wins. but they don't have bad losses either. That's the difference, though. San Diego State's got the bad loss to Troy. Clemson's been sliding late. Does that matter? Miami surge, does that carry weight? I don't know if it does or not. Does SMU get punished for a soft non-conference? I mean, these are all questions that need to be answered on Selection Sunday. But again, these are schools that you're competing with for a bubble. In the Big 12, there's a clean cutoff. They got 6 locks and 2 teams that are 2 to 3 teams that are in they should be in, but still have more work to do. UCF, 97% chance. They got TCU at 40%, Cincinnati at 12%. Big 12 likely gets 7. If it gets 8, that changes the bubble math significantly. But here's the deal. The Big 12 has like the best metrics for almost any conference in the country. And they beat each other up, and they're not very good anymore. Meanwhile, the SEC beats each other up in basketball, and they're just so amazing. There's too much bias involved, and I'm so tired of them using the basketball power index, just like the football power index. You want to know why I'm sick and tired of those metrics, Frank?
Why would that be?
Because they incorporate with their metrics recruiting rankings. Why do you think they do that, Frank? Why do you think they include recruiting rankings into their power indexes?
Because it makes the SEC and Big Ten look better.
Right. Why? Because it's all subjective of who's going to be good based on grading high school kids. The stuff that ESPN pushes out is such a joke. It's such a joke.
You wonder why we've had an embargo on that station in this room while we're here.
It's so bad. It's almost like, you want to talk about that, whatever that kid is that's exposing fraud around the country? You want to see the fraud? This. College athletics and determining who deserves to go to the NCAA tournament for things. That is fraud. Give me a break. Fraud alert. Big Ten and SEC basketball. I mean, TCU beat up in Wisconsin and Florida. They lost to Michigan by 4. All of their games are relatively close. They're battling for a final spot. Meanwhile, schools like Texas A&M, who haven't done anything all year, it's like, they're for sure in. They're so good. Their basketball power index is very high, you know. Stupid. Basketball power index. What a crock of S that metric is. Football power index. What a crock of S that metric is. Big East, expect only 3 teams. Seton Hall needs some chaos. You're a better a chance at making the tournament than them. Here's the mid-major team. St. Mary's is at a 95% chance of making the postseason based on their metrics. Gonzaga, Utah State also are probably going to be locks in the NCAA tournament. San Diego State jumped to 49%. They're about 50-50 right now. They beat New Mexico on the road. That's going to really help them, especially since New Mexico is another team on the bubble you got to compete with. That's almost a play-in game on Saturday. New Mexico's got a 35% chance of making the NCAA tournament. If the Mountain West only gets 2 bids, you better win that game on Saturday. The gap between the Aztecs and New Mexico and Nevada and Boise State is wide. It's, Nevada and Boise State got like a 5% chance of making the playoffs, making the NCAA tournament. So realistically, Utah State is in and 1 more gets in, maybe 2 max, but you don't want to be the 3rd team out of the 2 versus 3 argument. That game on Saturday, Frank, that is a play-in game to make the NCAA tournament.
Yes, 100%. And that's why we've said that you pretty much have to win out this year if you want to guarantee yourself a chance, at least a decent chance at getting an at-large bid if you do not win the conference tournament.
I look at the big themes of this, right? The metrics versus the resumes. There's some great teams that have great See, here's what I don't understand about this is how much they value the predictive metrics. Why are we predicting anything? Why shouldn't we just have everything based on what they have done?
You know why? So some dope at ESPN can justify their paycheck. That's why. Like, why is Mel Kiper still employed he gets most things.
Did you
wrong
see that, by
anyway.
the way? I'm glad you brought that. Did you see the whole thing like on social media? Like, because they got rid of Todd McShay.
Okay.
And did you see somebody said like, wow, Todd McShay has gotten just, way more ball knowledge after leaving ESPN. I love his takes now. And Todd McShay's like,
Yeah, it's almost like they get suppressed.
He's like, I've been freed.
Yeah.
And then the rumor was like, are agents telling these ESPN guys to overhype their guys for draft prospect rankings? And I'm sitting there going like,
you don't think, huh?
I don't know. Man, maybe. I don't know.
It is. It's about time for Mel Kiper to start crawling out of his hidey hole, is it not? It's almost draft time.
You know what?
I can't. 2 months away from the draft.
I can't dog Mel Kiper. You want to know why I can't dog Mel Kiper? I've heard stories. So Adam has worked with Mel Kiper a couple of times when he worked at ESPN. He says he's like the nicest guy, like the nicest human being, and the guy just loves eating pumpkin pie. I mean, you can't get mad at the guy. Doesn't like to leave his house. Okay, he doesn't like to leave his house. He does everything from his house.
People get mad at me though.
You know what? Start coming up with mock drafts, and maybe you could just work from home.
No,
he never leaves his house. Except for like the one time that they got to bring him out for the draft. He's a nice guy. He eats pumpkin pie every day. Every day.
Does he have a latch in his hair that he just hides?
No, he gets them delivered to his house. He gets him delivered to his house. The pumpkin pie bit. You've never seen the pumpkin pie thing with Mel Kiper?
No.
Look that up real quick. Mel Pumpkin Pie is what his name is. No, he consumed. Okay. They actually asked him this, I think, on air one time at one draft. Mel Kiper consumes 2 to 3 pumpkin pies per week.
Yeah, I'm seeing this now.
And you know what he doesn't eat? The crust.
He just eats the filling?
He just eats the filling.
Just get a can of the filling, dude. Like, they sell that. It'll probably be cheaper.
ESPN NFL draft expert Mel Kiper Jr. has a well-known, peculiar, and consistent diet that includes eating pumpkin pie for breakfast almost every morning for 8 to 9 months of the year. He consumes 2 to 3 pies per week, specifically eating only the filling without the crust, topped with fat-free whipped cream. We highly recommend you not doing that as a dietary supplement.
Brother, again, just buy the can of filling. It'll probably be cheaper.
That filling has not been mixed with sugar and all that other stuff. That's just pumpkin. It's not filling. Like, so have you made pumpkin pies?
No.
You have to take that filling and I think you have to mix it with condensed milk or something. Like maybe you're like, there's a, like,
do it.
He has to do all this, but he doesn't let his wife do it either. He says like she can't make his pumpkin pies the way he likes them. So he orders them and he buys them and they get delivered there. Hey man, you made it big doing mock drafts. How do you get to spend your money? Eating pumpkin pie every day. I mean, I can't believe he doesn't get sick of eating pumpkin pie. That's crazy. He's a pumpkin pie vampire. He is. That's a new level of sports sicko. Anyway, you look at the metrics, you look at how this plays out for the NCAA tournament. Again, the committee historically says the resume matters most. The Aztecs have a good resume. It's decent. It's not great. But recent trends have shown that predictive metrics are creeping into conversations. So are they overvaluing the power conference mediocrity? Highly, highly likely. Like, let's put it from this perspective. We got to take a break, though. 18 and 12 SEC teams with 6 quad 1 wins versus a 25 and 5 mid-major with 1 quad 1 win. What's more impressive? Surviving a gauntlet or dominating your league? I mean, this is the conversation that needs to be about, because the Aztecs are actually a team that has 18 wins and 2 quad 1 wins, which is a lot different than an SEC team that's got 18 wins and 6 quad 1 wins. Like, but how much are you valuing the quad 1? Because like beating Boise State on the road is a quad 1 win. They had a quad 1 win at Nevada. That thing disappeared like that because Nevada started losing. The Mountain West squeeze is interesting too. For 5 straight years, the Mountain West has sent at least 3 teams to the NCAA tournament. But If the SEC gets 11, the Big Ten gets 9, the ACC gets 8, there might not be room for maybe 3 teams. And that's why this Aztec-New Mexico game on Saturday becomes very pivotal, Frank.
Yeah, and again, you got to focus now. You don't worry about picking which one of these games is more important. You got to win out. You have to win out at this point if you want to give yourself the best possible opportunity to be an at-large team, especially when you have some of the losses that you have on your resume. And the week you had last week did not help you at all. So you just got to focus on winning as many games as humanly possible. And there's 3 left. So now you know how many you need to win.
When we come back, we're going to transition back into Padres baseball, get the update from Sam Levitt out there in Peoria, Arizona. He will join us on the return when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. '26 NCAA tournament is just around the corner, and the bubble talk is starting to heat up. Obviously, we're talking about the Aztecs a little bit, but the rest of college basketball teams have roughly 3 weeks until Selection Sunday to make a statement. Right now, the key question for fans: who's in, who's out, and who still has work to do today. Break down some of those trends, highlight key bubble movers, and look at what to watch this week. Bubble snapshot by conference for the SEC. Their locks: Florida, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Alabama should be in. Kentucky, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Auburn, and Texas and Missouri still have work to do. What are some of the key takeaways?
Also got Arkansas in there as well. Some of those key takeaways: Kentucky has hit a rough patch after 3 straight losses, but still boasts 5 quadrant 1 wins, a tough stretch ahead with multiple top-level opponents. Georgia's recent victories over Kentucky and Texas have boosted them back into should-be-in territory with an easier finish on paper. Auburn as well in this remains a wild card, 5 quad 1 wins against one of the toughest schedules in the country, but only 15-12 overall. The committee will weigh records versus strength of schedule heavily, which might leave Auburn on the outside looking in.
Big Ten had a pretty good weekend over the weekend. Locks, of course, are Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State, Wisconsin. They're all going to be in the NCAA tournament. Iowa and UCLA should be in at this point in time. Indiana, Ohio State, and USC still have work to do. And a big key takeaway over the weekend: UCLA recovered from that recent loss with an overtime win over Illinois, still hovering near the 85% consensus odds. They made a big jump. Ohio State continues to alternate wins and losses, making them a classic bubble team with inconsistent momentum. Iowa's stretch run is very critical for the Big Ten and for Iowa. After losing 3 of 4 recently, they have wins against Ohio State, Penn State, and they're essentially which are essential to solidify their spot. So if they can beat Ohio State and Penn State, they would be really in a lot better spot to be able to lock instead of just should be in. What's the ACC looking like?
Did you just have a 23-point lead on me?
Yeah, that's the greatest.
For the ACC, the lock should be Duke, Virginia, Louisville, North Carolina, and NC State. SMU, Clemson, and Miami should be in. Virginia Tech and Cal do have work to do. Clemson has cooled off a little bit after 4 straight losses, but still maintain a strong resume for an ACC bid. Miami sits in the mid 80% range for at-large odds with 2 more quadrant 1 chances remaining. And Va-Tech remains on the outside, needing key wins over both North Carolina and Virginia in order to remain viable.
As for the Big 12, the locks, of course, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, Kansas, Texas Tech, BYU, all having great years. The top half of the Big 12 is the best in college basketball. UCF kind of in the should be in category. They did regain control of the Big 12 potential 7th at-large bid as they had a good week against TCU and Utah. TCU and Cincinnati still have work to do, but Cincinnati had a big win over the weekend. They knocked off Kansas on the road. Their tournament hopes are remote, but they are still hanging around. They need some major wins and a little bit of luck to go their way. As for TCU, they've had very much a seesaw season, and that has them hovering around 30% at large odds. They got one big shot left at Texas Tech. They should be able to take care of business against the other teams that they have remaining on the schedule, but playing a team like Texas Tech, who now doesn't have JT Toppin, opens the door for TCU. If they win that game, they're almost in the should be in category of waiting on the Big 12 tournament. But the Big 12 tournament is going to be must watch. In terms of other conferences, mid-majors, Gonzaga, Utah State should be locks. St. Louis and St. Mary's should both be in, and teams with work to do, one of them here in town, but Miami of Ohio, who's undefeated, by the way, just in case they don't win their conference. Santa Clara, New Mexico, Virginia Commonwealth, who had a fight with St. Louis last week. San Diego State and Belmont, all with work to do. There's a lot of key takeaways, but what is the key takeaway for the Aztecs?
For San Diego State, they have fallen off the bubble after consecutive losses. New Mexico has the edge in the Mountain West if only 2 bids are awarded. Now, if you're the Aztecs, though, you look at your remaining schedule, you have Utah State, Boise State, New Mexico, and UNLV. So you've got 3 quad 1 opportunities if you're San Diego State plus UNLV. So you have the ability to possibly make a case for yourself in the last gasp, but with that loss against Colorado State, that really, really set you back.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very interesting this week. I mean, bubble volatility, Auburn, Ohio State, San Diego State. Want to mention that all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking. It's better. Aztecs, big win last night. Talk about it a lot here in the first hour of the show. But again, you don't really want, it's the same thing as taking a pitch with 2 strikes. Don't put it in the umpire's hands. They can't be putting this stuff in the committee's hands. They really can't. Correct. I mean, they have, and out of all the games you have to win, this game on Saturday is monumental. Monumental game for San Diego State on Saturday against New Mexico. We'll talk more about that coming up tomorrow. We have to move Sam back to 11 o'clock. He's working on a lot of different stuff today, so we'll talk to Sam in just a little bit. Did you see the I saw this. Didn't really want to. I saw it. I thought it was funny. And then Adam sent it when it comes to traveling and stuff.
Mm.
You haven't traveled a lot.
No.
So
I wish I could, but I have not.
I look at this. I saw this and I thought it was interesting. So I think a lot of people are kind of tired with the way that traveling is in terms of what it used to be and what it is now. So Tampa International Airport 3 hours ago put out a press release. It looks like a press release.
Okay.
And the press release says, "We've seen enough. We've had enough. It's time to ban pajamas at the Tampa International Airport. After successfully banning Crocs and giving everyone the amazing opportunity to experience the world's first Crocs-free airport, it's time to take on an even larger crisis. Pajamas at, the, airport, in the middle of the day. We know this decision could be disruptive to someone in your life. It's time to have a difficult conversation with them. You can do this. We and Phoebe believe in you. The madness stops today. The movement starts now. Help Tampa International Airport become the world's first Crocs-free and pajama-free airport. Do your part, Frank. Say no to pajamas at TPA."
Okay, by the way,
That's hilarious.
we are suing the
Tampa International Airport because TPA does not stand for whatever they think it does. It stands for my race team on iRacing, Trash Panda Autosport. So we will be taking a class action lawsuit on that one.
Except for the fact that they've probably had that for a long time now. But
anyway, I don't understand. What's the big deal? Like, I really, like, if it's not skimpy or whatever, who cares? Let people travel comfortably. I dress the way I dress. The way I'm dressed now is the way I dress at the airport. Braden can attest to that, because I don't care. If somebody wants to wear pajamas and if it's not revealing, then who cares? Who cares? Let people be comfortable.
We used to be a society here, Frank. People used to wear suits on planes.
That's good.
People used to look good when they would travel.
Fantastic. I don't care.
Some of the first comment. Let's go back to the way it was the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They have all these people wearing nice clothes in the airplane.
Yeah, let's just. Yep.
All these people wearing nice clothes in the airplane. People don't look bad. I mean, the Crocs thing's wild.
Yeah, again, it's like, who cares? Just why do you care?
Somebody goes like, fix the delays first. We'll talk about, and then we'll talk about my pajamas.
Work on your stuff, and then we'll worry about ours.
I don't mind, like, you should wear normal clothes.
If
like, wear normal. I agree with Jay Hughesy in the chat. Wear normal clothes. Like, don't wear your pajamas. You can wear comfortable clothes. Just wear clothes that you would go out in, and people need to stop going out in pajamas.
If it's a red eye, then seriously, who cares? Especially if it's a red eye, then who cares?
By the way,
people are going to be sleeping on there.
There's no way this is like a serious matter. I mean, this is hilarious. By the way, it's an hilarious deal. Sweatpants, I think, are fine. Pajama pants, too far. That's where I draw the line. T-shirt and shorts, fine. You want to wear flip-flops on a plane? Gross for your feet, but go ahead.
Why are sweatpants such a bad thing on a plane for you?
No, I said wear sweatpants. It's fine. Pajama pants,
okay.
It's just like, it looks bad.
Depends on what they are. If they're fuzzy and fluffy, then yeah, you're going to get some looks. But if they look like I have pajama pants that look like flannel pants.
I usually wear my Lulu pants that look like jeans or whatever. They look like regular pants, but they feel like sweats.
Yeah.
I wear those. But they're not pajama pants. I mean, that's why that's why I said, hey, if you want to wear your flip-flops, go ahead, but that's kind of gross. I bet Dinger wears pajamas on the plane. Does he even have pants? Does Dinger even have pants?
Dinger will find some. TSA told Dinger, well, you know what? We got to find some. If we find Dinger pants, do you think he'll come here?
No. I don't think Dinger's ever coming here.
Can you let a man dream?
The Crocs thing's funny. By the way, my buddy, our guy Ron, he had his one of his roommates just made him Crocs for golf. They have spikes on the bottom. I have been sent a picture of these.
Crocs.
Yes. I didn't know that's what's the official term.
No, I don't know.
He called it something, and I'm
coining it. So
it might be, he might have already used it before that. So sorry to tell you. Yeah, he called them Groks. He's also a Raiders fan, so he has silver and black Groks for golf. I'm going to send this to you.
Oh, no.
I'm going to send this to you. Do you want an email form or text form?
You can text it. That's fine. I've had to offload almost every single app on my phone to get this stupid update to download. But
there it is. He has Groks now. That is a foul. He plays. Good for Ron. I mean, whatever. But the sport mode for Crocs is a little bit too much.
Yeah, no, that's a little bit more than just sport mode.
That is off-road sports mode. He's got silver and black camo Crocs that now have golf spikes in them. So on the golf course, there's no way country clubs are going to allow him to play there.
Yeah, no.
I mean, he's playing at the local Muni all the time. Do you think Torrey Pines is going to let him walk onto Torrey Pines with those?
I don't think Torrey Pines is going to let him walk in Torrey Pines with those.
Nah, I'm just saying. I think he's getting on any of the 4x4 Crocs. He's got the 4-wheel drive Crocs.
After VAR review, the officials have determined
it's a foul.
He draws the foul.
Penalty shot.
Well, here's the best part. He's going to roll up in his Dodger slides, which is a foul in itself, and then he's going to throw the Crocs on with the spikes on the bottom.
You're wearing Dodger slides and Raider Crocs in San Diego. That's
Dude, the guy's from Bakersfield. Of course, he likes the Dodgers and the Raiders. He's the guy, Frank. Like you, nobody hates the Dodgers or the Raiders or the Lakers more than Ron Davis does. Facts. I've never worn Crocs. People say they're super comfortable.
I've never worn them either.
I can't get on board with that. Those are like shoes that they had on the movie Idiocracy. That's where we are at as a society.
I'm not old enough to consider wearing those yet.
Tampa International Airport, Crocs free, and they want to be pajama free airport. Fix the delays. You can tell me what to wear at that point.
What happened to survival of the fittest, man? What happened to that?
Warning labels.
It's like, if you're stupid enough to do something, do it. Let you figure out on your own, and then you decide if you're going to do it again. This is why I don't leave the house. I can't participate in polite society because I say stuff.
The best part is they were on Idiocracy a long time ago, and now everybody wears them. It's the beginning of the end for society. Crocs, and now the Crocs that are off-road mode for golf for our guy Ron. The costume director thought they were so dumb they would never take off.
No, let's not go back to when we wore fedoras, Glenn. Sorry.
The Crocs are the state shoe of Florida. Just not at the Tampa airport, Wilbur.
Fedoras have been ruined.
I've been told that the Crocs are very comfortable. I'll refuse to wear those. That's a foul.
Yeah, no, I'm not old enough to not care enough about what I look like to wear Crocs.
Go Aztecs. There was a guy yesterday at my physical therapy who had a Dodger hat, a Rams hoodie, and Laker pants. Please leave, sir.
That's why he's in therapy.
Physical therapy.
I will say, though, one thing that Crocs do have that I find funnier than anything else. Oh, hey, Jose Azocar's a Brave. Did not know that.
Squirrel.
The Crocs have headlights. You could buy...
Excuse me?
You could buy headlights to stick in the little holes on top of on the top of the Crocs, and you can have like a headlight on your Crocs. That is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's amazing. That guy needed some hardcore medication, apparently. All right, so Tampa wants to get rid of I'm not, you know what? I'm on board with that. Dress normal. Start your day right. You're rolling out of bed, just jumping on the plane. There's usually a smell that rolls with that, too. I agree with whoever said it in the chat. Put deodorant on.
Augie.
Stop it. That's a trains thing for you. Juan is convinced that you should be wearing Crocs right now.
No, will not.
Will not wear Crocs.
Will not wear Crocs. I did not get that flavor. I did not get that flavor. I got trains. I got airplanes.
Automobiles?
Yes, cars.
Planes,
Fast
trains,
cars.
and automobiles. That's great.
Fast cars that go burr. I got that flavor. I did not get the headlights on Crocs personally owned flavor. I do appreciate it when I see it, but I will never own it.
I agree with Jocelyn in the chat. Of all places, Tampa, they have Florida Man. If you cannot get rid of Florida Man, you cannot tell me what shoes to wear. I might agree with that.
Yeah.
I might agree with that. Do you still have the sound clip from Woods answering a question from Adam today?
I do have the thing we were going to play. Yes, still have it ready to go.
We got to talk about that later. I was laughing my ass off as Ben Higgins turns into therapist, talking to Woods about his like 20 minutes his 20 minutes of actions that he had on the morning show, where he had upset our boss, in which we got an email. Don't you hate when you get emails from Adam like that? Everybody's just, like, was that directed towards me? And then you're like, what did I do that? Did I request off?
No, and that was the first thing. That was the first thing I saw when I got that email. I'm like, morning show did something.
I immediately thought it was something else.
There was no reason for him to send that email when he did. I'm like, morning show did something.
Thought it was me on and I'm like, I don't remember requesting off for tomorrow or this next week.
Oh, Sam's joining us on the thing.
We'll talk about that later. We'll get to Sam next. Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 11 o'clock, 97 through the fan. About to get to our coverage of Padres baseball. Sam Levitt's coverage of Padres baseball is brought to you by David P. Shapiro, criminal defense attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. He joins us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Sam, hopefully I think we figured this out. What's going on? Is the weather out there in Peoria? What do we got going on a Thursday?
Yeah, we got to figure it out. I think I might have to get a new cable here, going a little in and out on the equipment, on the radio equipment here. But good day here in Peoria. Very nice weather. It is very, very warm. I cannot recall a stretch of time where it has been this warm, this early in spring in Peoria since I've been coming to spring training. And this is my fourth, but we've had a very hot week. It's getting high 80s, low 90s. So we're dealing with that. But aside from that, everything is going pretty smoothly.
Yeah, well, it's hot out here, so no surprise. It's a little bit of a heat wave out here in the southwest of the United States. All right, let's talk about some of the things that have been happening with Padres baseball over the last couple of days or so, and some topics that we have discussed around Padres baseball. One of them to me that I want to start with is and it was in the latest notes from Kevin Acee yesterday about the bullpen and the battle of the bullpen, and the Padres having a plethora of arms, and not everybody's going to be able to make the team. And they're starting to get some phone calls about the bullpen from other teams. What's been the latest in terms of the bullpen battle? Because there's not too many spots available, and there's a lot of arms that are off to really good starts.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good point. Look, the Padres have, I think, an embarrassment of riches as far as bullpen arms, and they've got guys in there who are very experienced and who certainly have spots locked up, and a very, very strong group. And then they have a group of guys that are battling for the final spot or two, and I'll get to why there might be an opportunity for somebody else to sneak in a moment. But you're right. I mean, whether you want to talk about guys like Alec Jacob or Bradley Rodriguez or Ron Marinaccio. I mean, the list goes on of guys that are coming up through the pipeline, like a Garrett Hawkins, like a Miguel Mendez, who's been more of a starter, but, could be somebody who's seen the bullpen at some point. We'll see. Look, they have a lot of guys that can throw the ball hard and are high octane arms in that bullpen. And obviously we know the big names that are already in there, the guys like Miller and Borjon and Estrada and Adam, if he's on the opening day roster. The latest update, though, on that is that Yuki Matsui is going to miss the World Baseball Classic, won't pitch for Team Japan, dealing with that left adductor strain that he suffered in the last week. And obviously that's unfortunate for Yuki, because pitching in the WBC is very, very meaningful for these guys, and he's not going to be able to do that. And his status for opening day, I think, is in question a little bit. Again, we're a month away, exactly a month from opening day, so who knows, maybe he is ready by then. But hypothetically, if Yuki is not ready for opening day, it would open up a spot for somebody else. And I think somebody like Ron Marinaccio, who is out of options, well, you could make the argument, might make it a little bit easier for him to sneak his way onto the roster if, say Yuki Matsui isn't ready, and now you have another spot open. And again, we don't know if Jason Adam is going to be ready for opening day. He's expressed that he wants to be, but I think it's still to be determined if that's going to be a reality for March 26th. So you look at the whole situation, and I think the good news is that they have a number of arms that are very capable, and, there are definitely going to be guys that are very well deserving and would be in a lot of major league bullpens on the outside looking in. But I do think with the Matsui news, depending on what happens with Jason Adam, you're looking at a scenario where maybe a guy or two sneaks onto that opening day roster that maybe otherwise would not have been there. But it's a good problem to have. Obviously, I think the idea of AJ Preller still here at spring training, dealing from a position of great strength where you actually have a lot of depth, is not a crazy idea. And I guess we'll see in the next month if AJ does something with one of those arms potentially. But if not, they've got a very, very strong group down there regardless.
Talking with Sam Levitt. He's live from Peoria, Arizona. We got a Padre game later on today, of course. Let's talk about the bench as well. I mean, there's a battle for the bench. I think the only thing that's really, I wouldn't say locked in, but a little bit more firm is the catching situation. And we knew that going into spring training, but that leaves relatively 3 spots open for the bench. I think a lot of people would assume with the way that he has already hit left-handers, Miguel Andujar will be part of that conversation. And then it leaves a couple extra spots. You got guys like Sungmoon Song potentially playing for a spot. You got Bryce Johnson, who is a very you could really utilize him in the outfield as a fourth outfielder. He brings a lot of intangibles to this team. Ty France is a Gold Glove level first baseman that's getting a lot of repetition. So the bench battle is starting to get really interesting. But I tell you what, Sam, I mean, this might be one of the deeper bench that the Padres have had, just based on the players that they have competing for spots. There's going to be some tough decisions.
And I'll give you two names that you didn't even say that are 40-man guys who I think have a real shot to be on this team, and that's Will Wagner and Mason McCoy. I mean, those guys are already on the 40-man. Those guys may be a little bit redundant based on where they play, but, two guys that have experience at the major league level, and McCoy did a nice job yesterday, had a nice hit, had a nice play up the middle defensively. Padres know what they have in him, a guy who hopefully can give you a good glove and give you good enough at bats where, he could spot somebody here and there throughout the course of a season. So you're right. Whether you want to look at Song, who I certainly think has a great shot to be on this roster, or McCoy or Wagner, Jose Miranda's shown up and done a really nice job at the plate. Obviously, that's a guy who would have to, be put on the 40-man, and that's a big difference this time of year is guys that are on minor league deals versus guys that are already on the 40-man, and obviously those 40-man guys have some level of advantage, but they've got some guys playing well, and to your point, once you factor in, Andujar and Song and how the Padres can be malleable with this roster depending on the matchup. I mean, there, probably are going to be days where you have a guy in Gavin Sheets coming off the bench, a guy who can, be a big bopper in a pinch hit situation. Same thing with Castellanos. So I'm with you, Braden. I think the good thing is they have a lot of guys that are hitting well. They do have some optionality for these spots. And unlike the last couple of years at the start of the season, I do think you probably are looking at a scenario in 26 where you feel pretty good about this bench coming out of spring training. And I don't know that you necessarily felt that way in 24 and 25. It kind of got that way as the season went on and they signed guys and they made the trades they did. But I'm with you. I think you may look at this bench and see some good defensive optionality. Bryce Johnson, you mentioned him. I think he has a strong case to be that, kind of fourth outfielder type and somebody who they can plug in and has speed and is a switch hitter. So they're going to have some tough decisions to make even just on this 40-man roster, but they've got some good options. And I think the good news is some, potential power coming off the bench as well, which I think is really important.
The good news is some of those names you mentioned, including the 240-man guys, is they can go up and back. So that might be a numbers game a little bit more than anything else, where they're waiting in AAA for an injury potentially. Because, when I've thrown out in conversations, right, doing topics and stuff like that of, Ty France making the team. And then the question is like, well, who's going to back up Cronenworth at second? Well, if Cronenworth gets hurt, guess who's getting a call very quickly? Will Wagner, Mason McCoy, right? So I think it's more about preserving as many of the players as they can. And we know about those potential numbers. That leads into my next question here. And I think it's an interesting conversation about Sungmoon Song and his obviously adjustment to MLB velocity, because they have him working on backfields right now, tracking 100-mile pitches. He's going to see a lot of it in spring training, and I don't know specifically in his contract, because some of the guys coming over from Korea and Japan have stipulations of you can't send me down to the minor leagues in order to sign. I don't know if he has that, but with the way that this has been playing out, is there a situation in which Sungmoon Song might be getting more work maybe in the minor leagues to start the season or extended spring training? I don't know if any of those are that pliable, but is that a case for a guy like Sungmoon Song to get him up to speed and in a way that I could keep Ty France in the organization if he plays well? Is that maybe something that's getting discussed?
Well, from what, from the brief research I've done on the Song contract, and I've got to confirm this, it appears he does not have minor league opt-out rights. Now, please don't quote me on that.
We don't. It's hard to find, and we're not going to know.
I don't know that for sure, but let's live in a world where he could be optioned down to the minor leagues. Yeah, I mean, would give you more optionality in what you could do with other guys in the 40-man, and also could give him a little bit more time to catch up to major league pitching. But I totally could see a situation where, here at spring training and on the backfield, and he's going to get plenty of opportunities to play, especially with Manny and Bogarts out and these guys leaving for the WBC. I could totally see a situation where they come out of spring training saying he's ready to play, and defensively we can use him in different spots. So we'll see. But I think there's cases for McCoy, and there's going to be a case for Wagner. And as far as I'll tell you, and I said his name, who I think really has just a great shot to make the team, Bryce Johnson, because you actually look at the 40-man and fourth outfielder types, and it's like you kind of need him.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, because then you got Andujar, who's played out there, but probably isn't great out there. You've got Castellanos, who, he said yesterday, if Tatis needs a blow, he can go out there, but it certainly doesn't seem like that's their plan. He's not working out there. I'll tell you that.
Well, the other thing
to me, Bryce Johnson to me is like almost, I don't want to say a lock, but pretty close.
To your point, I mean, when you think about a fourth outfielder, Sam, what do you use a fourth outfielder for? Defensive replacement late,
defense,
right? And
Nick
give somebody
a breather. Yeah,
they're not better defensively than your current outfield.
Correct. Yeah, I again, I don't want to say Johnson's a lock per se, but I think it's pretty close. Just you look in the room, and the fact that he's on the 40-man. So, and by the way, I think Bryce could be a very, very, and you might remember Bryce had some stretches where he was pretty productive offensively last year. So, to me, he's kind of earned the fourth outfielder spot, and I think could really be very good in that role too, to his credit. So you're right. The infield depth part of it, beyond Andujar, beyond Castellanos and Sheets, how they fit in day to day as far as the lineup based on matchups. I think that's where it's going to get, potentially interesting, because you've got Wagner, you've got Song, you've got McCoy. If somebody shows up here, let's just use a Jose Miranda, for example, and it's Cy France, could I see a world where those guys make it onto the roster because they show up and the Padres are we really like what they bring? Yeah. So going to be interesting. There's good competition, I would say, for, those final couple of bench spots for sure. Yeah.
And plus, as you mentioned, I think on Tuesday, he's got over 100 MLB games with the Padres last year that you can go off of with Bryce Johnson. And that gets, it seems like, and that's how I would evaluate it as a coach. It's this stuff is extra. Let's see how he goes through some training and everything like that. But we know what he looks like in actual MLB games that matter. I think that gives a lot of guys the benefit of the doubt for slow starts in spring training.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking it up. I'm going to admit, for the first time this spring, what he actually did last year. I mean, again, it was 84 plate appearances, but he hit 342. He did. And he's got great speed, and if he gets on, he can steal a base, and he plays certainly good enough defense. So, yeah, to me, Bryce Johnson is going to be on this team. I think he probably should be. And then we go from there. But yeah, I mean, he did good things last year. Kind of went under the radar, but it was very productive.
Yeah, he's got the nod of if you don't put him on the team, he ain't coming back. He's going to be somewhere else. Correct. For sure. So correct. And that's a big factor for a lot of people that think that it's just easy to try to just send him down to AAA. That's not how it works for a lot of these players.
It's a major factor, the options part of it. And I guess this will, not that you asked about it, but it brings me into a different part of some of the news of the day. And that was Matt Waldron was back in the clubhouse today. He did play catch yesterday, so that's good. What his timetable is going to be as far as getting back on a mound and pitching in a game, I don't know yet. So how he's going to be impacted as far as the next month, and not only competing for a rotation spot, but also he's out of options, right? So that's a significant part of his situation. It's going to be interesting to see how long it takes him to get back, and then how they handle that. Is he going to be out long enough where you could put him on the IL, which I believe would allow you to delay that decision as far as the no options, and kind of kick the can down the road on that, from what I understand. So I don't know the answers to those questions yet and how long he's going to be out for. But, again, to your point, he's a good example of there are things that go into these decisions when all is said and done at the end of spring training that are really beyond just the on-field performance, and things like being out of options and how you can maximize the number of guys you can keep and maintain as much depth as possible, at least at the very start of the season. These are very, very important factors that go into all these decisions.
I think that leads into too of just what level of performance certain players have to do to overcome some of the numbers games that they don't qualify for. It's like, hey, look, yeah, he's doing really well in spring training, but is that good enough to basically cut two other players and not have him part of the org anymore? That's where these guys are going to have to make some of those decisions. One of the conversations that we had yesterday, and it's going to end our conversation with you as we started, it's about the bullpen. And the question is about, Bradley Rodriguez and the fact he's 22, he's young, he's controllable. Does that open the door, if he does really well, to a potential trade specifically for Estrada or Morgan that also fit his profile? And we get into the weeds, and it's like, well, they are all young and controllable. I know you got to give up something good to get something back, but what you're looking for is starting pitching, and I don't think you're going to be able to give up a bullpen piece for a starting pitcher in the future. And the other thing's first base. Is that really worth it when you can hang on to some of these players long term?
Yeah, I'll kind of echo what I think was said a little bit earlier today on the station, and it is the look. I understand that there is a group here, a position group here that has a ton of depth, and it's probably the only one right now, and that's the bullpen, like we discussed earlier in this segment. However, even though I understand that people out there are like, well, you could make a trade from that and fulfill a need. To me, there are two reasons why maybe you don't do it. And number one, you've got a really great bullpen. And I know what Jeremiah Estrada can do. I know what Adrian Morhone can do. I know what Jason Adam, Mason Miller, obviously. Heck, I even know what David Morgan looked like over the course of almost a full season. Look, Bradley Rodriguez, some of these younger guys that are on the way up. Bradley's got a ton of talent. Do we know if he's going to be able to get guys out consistently, outing after outing at the major league level? We don't. And that's not a knock on Bradley at all. He just hasn't been given the opportunity, and he will at some point. He certainly will at some point. So, I would be very, very, if it were me, and I'm not AJ, but I'd be very hesitant to at the start of the year deal from what I think could be a big reason why you win a lot of games, and that's the bullpen. And also, like, they've signed all these guys. They've got all the depth in this rotation, or at least options in this rotation, and kind of options as far as, first base and their lineup in DH and what they could do. I almost kind of want to see what you got at the start of the year and really see what your needs are. And you can address it as the season goes along or as you get towards the deadline. And hopefully at the very least, you're hanging around. So I don't know, to me, to move a guy, one of your big relievers, to fill a quote unquote need that you don't even really know how dire it is yet. And then also just assume that your high octane arms that are younger are just going to be able to replace those guys. I think those are a lot of pieces that got to fall into place to make it worth it right here, right now. And I just feel like this bullpen has the potential to be so good and such a big reason why right out of the gate they're winning games that personally I would kind of roll with them. But
I'm not in the mindset of, I can't trade from a super strength, but I will say this, Sam, what this team needs the most is still starting pitching.
Absolutely.
And you're absolutely right. That bullpen is not going to get you the starting pitching that you need, because the teams that need those pitchers, the Estradas and the Morgans and all that, those are teams that are competitive and they're trying to win a World Series. And those teams do not want to give up starting pitching arms for a bullpen arm. It doesn't match up.
And Braden, it's also not the time of year for it. I mean, I feel like we got a little, I don't know if spoiled is the right word, but at least it was a rarity where a guy like a Dylan Cease was moved right before the season started. I mean, those things don't typically happen. And obviously that was a very, very different situation where you're talking about what was kind of like a standard trade, big starting pitcher with multiple years of control. Here's a prospect package. That's not what we're talking about.
Right.
Here. I mean, right. That's a trade that can kind of happen whenever, because it's a pretty standard trade. And the Padres had the prospects to trade from. So, look, on one hand, the Padres have a lot of options as far as their rotation. How that quote unquote depth is going to play out once we get going is to be seen. And also, look, there are, you're hoping Nick Pivetta can show up and be what he was last year. And I certainly think he can be. And I know they think he can be as well, but you got to see it. Joe's coming off the Tommy John, King's coming off, obviously, a lot of injuries in 2025. So, I think it's fair to say there are a lot of different factors that go into kind of what this rotation can be, even beyond what the back end looks like. So we're going to see. They could certainly use more. You can never have, like, there was some questions kind of in scrums, right when we started about, can you have too much? Now you have all these options. Can you have too many options for starting pitching? And I will, say to you very confidently, no, you cannot have too many options or too much starting pitching.
No,
Never.
you cannot. And Nick
You
Pivetta
cannot have too much pitching.
Nick Pivetta starts today. Sam, I know we got to cover some baseball here in a second, so let you go. Appreciate the conversation. Great conversation today about Padres baseball. Love the talk. We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
All right, guys. Have a good weekend. See ya.
Sam Levitt joining us on the SDCCU Fan Hotline. His coverage is brought to you by David P. Shapiro, Criminal Defense Attorneys. David P. Shapiro, Criminal Defense Attorneys, helping good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime since 2010. Visit davidpshapirolaw.com. A lot of interesting stuff with Sam. We're going to digest it when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. We talked about the trade deadline a couple of weeks ago. That's over. We talked about the All-Star weekend, giving a little bit of juice. That's over. And now we've got 2 months left, and the league is split into 3 clear lanes. The true contenders, teams trying to convince themselves they're contenders, and teams openly racing to the bottom. We got a massive problem with the tanking in the NBA too, but let's start at the top, Frank.
Yep. The Thunder right now are still the team to beat. They're the projected number 1 seed in the West, projected to get 61 wins this season. Best net rating profile. MVP front runner Shai Gilgeous-Alexander still doing exactly what he was doing last year to get Oklahoma City where he was. And also elite defense anchored by Chet Holmgren have really helped Oklahoma City stay on that perch that they were at last year.
And their biggest threat right now is the Denver Nuggets. If healthy, Nikola Jokic and a deeper supporting cast makes Denver the most dangerous postseason matchup for the Thunder. And they have already pushed Oklahoma City to 7 last year. So they're going to be another threat in the Western Conference for sure if they can remain healthy. But here's the key. Oklahoma City feels younger. They feel faster. They just feel hungrier. And SGA is playing like a guy who wants to remove all doubt in that MVP race.
Yeah, it's just because they won the championship last year. They're not saying, okay, well, we got ours, so let's go and have fun. No, they are fighting for a second one. They are going for back-to-back. And for an organization that's been kind of in the middle of nowhere ever since Durant and Harden in that era, they've really come back, and they've come back with a fury.
And we're going to talk about that MVP watch in just a second, but let's talk about the East first. The East is more interesting than you think. Everyone assumed this would be a 2-team conference. It's not. Detroit has the best record and Coach of the Year favorite in J.B. Bickerstaff. Cleveland Cavaliers added James Harden and are surging. Boston Celtics are surviving without Jason Tatum. And the New York Knicks, your New York Knicks, hanging around the 2-3 seed mix. Wild card Boston. Tatum comes back at even 80%. Their shooting profile makes him terrifying. They don't need him to be Superman. They need him to defend and space. But this is a fun race here in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and Cleveland is fascinating as well, because this dynamic with Harden and Donovan Mitchell either raises their ceiling or recreates just old playoff trauma. And we thought at the trade deadline that it would be the latter of those two. But with the way that Cleveland has really turned it around ever since they got James Harden, it may actually be the former in this case.
Second half kind of preview after this little bit of a break at the All-Star break was the MVP watch. SGA, Jokic, is that it? Again, shaping up to be another SGA versus Jokic battle. SGA, 32 points per game, 67% true shooting, number 1 seed impact. And for Jokic, it's leading the league in rebounds and assists, historic advanced metrics. Missed games may cost Jokic in the entire MVP discussion, but voter fatigue could matter. Narrative could matter. Health will definitely matter. If Oklahoma City locks up the number 1 seed by a wide margin, I'd be hard pressed to give it to anybody besides SGA.
Yeah, I think Gilgeous-Alexander probably does end up with it no matter what. Jokic has been very, very good this season, has missed a little bit of time, but when you're the number 1 player on the number 1 seed in the number 1 team in basketball, it's kind of hard to pick away from it.
The tanking problem. Most uncomfortable truth about the NBA right now. The most intense competition is at the bottom. It's Utah, already fined for lineup manipulation. It's Washington and the Brooklyn Nets openly rebuilding. It's the Memphis Grizzlies who have made moves that scream lottery positioning. And Adam Silver has floated a lot of different ideas out there. We've talked about some of those ideas, but flattening lottery odds, heavy fines, stripping picks. The honesty here is they might have to do something. They have to do something, and they might have to do one, if not multiple of these things, because right now the bottom 8 teams are playing a different game than the top 8.
Yeah. Now, and it is a problem. Okay. So it is definitely an issue, but a lot of this was brought on by one of the stories that we had in the sports thread last week, that gambling companies calling into the NBA office saying, hey, you guys, by allowing these guys to do what they're doing, is messing with us. So a lot of this
the
is
load
not
management.
Yeah, it's not necessarily spurred on by, okay, the NBA, we got to do something about these teams that are clearly not trying to win. There is some outside pressure to this, which leads me to believe that, yeah, there is going to be a change more than anything else.
Giannis' question remains still a part of this. This has been the last couple of weeks, but biggest summer storyline brewing.
Yep.
Giannis and the Bucks. They're 23-30. Giannis is hurt, 12th in the East, and he's already ineligible for awards because of missed games. Are we watching the final months of Giannis in Milwaukee?
I believe we are. I don't see Giannis staying in Milwaukee if he doesn't have to. There were reports last year where he was saying, "Get me to New York, whatever it costs." So he wants out of Milwaukee.
He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego State Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. We're going to continue our conversation with the position battles of the Padres in just a little bit. But we did have some Team USA stuff happen yesterday. I think the WBC teams are all starting to
Team
meet
USA
now.
baseball.
Yes. I mean, you could talk about the hockey game I went to last night where they started chanting USA when Connor McDavid got wrecked into the net. He got destroyed. And then everybody started chanting USA, which is funny because, like, there's Americans on the Edmonton Oilers, there's Canadians on the Ducks. It's just, whatever, but fun stuff. So all the World Baseball Classic teams are starting to assemble, correct? Right?
I believe so.
Do we have a lineup today for the Padres?
We have a lineup?
Do we have a lineup?
That is a good question.
Do we have a lineup? How many? I hear Chris Ella mention that all the time when there's. Do we have a lineup yet?
Does we has lineup?
Wow,
we
does. Chase Burns
does has lineup. Bryce Johnson leading off in left field.
I like it. Machado. All I was looking for is Tatis and Machado. They're still in the lineup. So
Fernando and Manny are 2 and 3.
I like that.
Sheets 4, France 5, Song 6, Taylor 7.
He's had a great spring.
Yeah. Dungan 8 and Duran 9.
All right.
With Nick Pivetta hurling.
This game's in Goodyear, Little Ohio. Is that what they call it?
Goodyear.
All right. So you have there was a lot of Team USA chatter yesterday for the World Baseball Classic. And we also had some sound from Mark DeRosa, who was on with Brett Booney on the Boone podcast to discuss Team USA. We only have time for a couple of these clips. But there's a couple of interesting conversations that come out of this. And the first one, and really an important one, it's a little bit longer, but I do want to play it. That mindset, that changing of the mindset for the WBC and not Major League Baseball. Here is what Mark DeRosa, who is managing Team USA, had to say on the Boone podcast.
Completely. Booney, I got a chance to do it in 09. I was on Team USA, and I was just jacked up. I got a chance to take BP in a hitting group with David Wright and Jeter and Jimmy Rollins for 3 weeks. And it was kind of viewed like a glorified get out of spring training and hang out with the superstars in the game. But I don't think, and I think what's happened with Team USA, I think the passion the Latin American countries showed early on in this and the way Japan went about it, it was kind of like we were getting knocked out in the semifinals when I was there in 09. I know USA won it with Jim Leland and the boys in 17, but there has been this like groundswell of guys wanting to be a part of this. And I credit Japan for getting our players to want to do it. From a position player standpoint, I think it makes perfect sense. You got like postseason at bats in March. You get back to your club, your parent club for the last like 10 days of spring training, and you're like bored. You're ready to go. Like it's on. From a pitching standpoint, being in March, that's the difficult part, to try and get these guys to buy in, because you know this, Booney. We played behind a lot of guys that were in a spring training start, like a Greg Maddux. I'm working on my changeup today, or I'm working on something. They didn't care what their line was, right? They were getting their work in. Whereas this, in front of 50,000, it's go time, man. Like it's win or go home. So you have to post. So I think from a pitching aspect of it, it's been a lot harder to get the guys on board. But I credit the Latin American passion, the mystery of the Japanese team, kind of forcing the U.S. to let's go. If we're going to win this thing, we got to put our best guys out there.
I know we were really pressed for time on this, but I do want to play this clip too, because I find it interesting on how, they're having all these conversations with MLB teams, because Major League Baseball and their organizations want to make sure their guys are ready to go for the season. That's why but they're also allowing them to play in the WBC. For Team USA, what is it like to have to coordinate with all these different teams to make sure their players are ready to go by opening day as they play in the WBC? Here's Mark DeRosa.
Yeah, I think it's case by case, Booney. In 23, my first time doing it, I was calling the managers, the pitching coaches, the GMs, and kind of getting their temperature on it before I was actually calling the player. This time I attacked it a little bit different, because I felt like if you went that route, man, God, you're limiting yourself. There's a lot of parent clubs that, and I understand the impact of one of these guys going down, how it impacts their season. So from their seat, it doesn't benefit the Tigers necessarily for Skubal to pitch in this thing. It benefits the growth of the game and the fact that we're putting our stars out there. But I understand from their point of view. But from mine, I'm trying to put the best product out there and the best team out there to give us the best chance to win. So I attacked it a little bit differently. What I started doing in late March, early April, I started picking guys off, just taking their temperature on the phone. I called Aaron Judge and was just like, left a message, was like, hey, this is D-Row. I'm managing Team USA again. Obviously, I want you to be the captain. If you're interested, give me a call back. And Booney, the phone calls, these guys were picking up like 2 rings. I couldn't believe it. Like, I called Harper, and I had played with Bryce when he was 19, and I called him and he's like, in. I called Skeens. He's like, you don't have to pitch me. I'm doing this. So everybody was a little different. Some teams wanted to check with their team first. Other guys stood on business. Skeens was like, I'm doing this for every serviceman and woman that gives us our freedom. Yeah. I'll figure it out. Like, I got it.
The Skeens thing is really cool, because he for a long time he was going to join the Air Force. He started at Air Force. He is a guy that is, very much about the military and what all those people do, and he has had that experience. That's why I think it's really cool that Skeens wants to play for Team USA. I think it's great. I think that's great that we're at this point now, and it's only getting better to try to get as many great teams into the WBC as possible, to try to match what hockey has done. The first game, March 4th, next Wednesday, it's going to be Chinese Taipei in Australia for the Tokyo Dome. And then it's Czechia.
They're playing for the Tokyo Dome?
They're playing in the Tokyo Dome.
That'd
Czechia
be cool, though.
is playing Korea next Thursday, Australia and Czechia. And then we start getting into some of the games out here in the Northern Hemisphere, in North America with Friday, March 6th. Friday, March 6th, Team USA will be playing their first game against Brazil, 5 o'clock on Fox at Daikin Park in Houston. Other big matchups for you to pay attention to. Two of our guys, obviously representing the Dominican Republic, they will play next Friday at 4 o'clock at Lone Depot Park in Miami. The Dominican Republic plays Nicaragua. Other teams that you need to pay attention to, obviously, Xander Bogaerts and the Netherlands are playing Venezuela next Friday at Lone Depot Park in Miami. Another one to look out for. Team Italy is not playing until I think the weekend, if I'm not mistaken. For Ron Marinaccio and Alec Jacob, they will play their first game on Saturday, March 7th. That's a look at some of the World Baseball Classic information. Some other stuff from Mark DeRosa is pretty good. I don't know if we'll have time to get to it, but we do want to dive back into Padres talk when we come back, as well as get to our sports thread on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 through the Fan. Time for another update on the Aztecs here on a Monday, as we will take a look at what happened with men's basketball, with baseball, softball, and women's basketball. And, of course, got to start with the men's basketball program. We talked a lot about it on the show earlier in the week, but Aztecs fell to Colorado State 83-74 in Fort Collins. They snapped a strong road performance streak. Key takeaway, Aztecs press defense struggled early. Colorado State's 13 three-pointers and 29 free throws were too much to overcome. Bench continued to shine. They outscored Colorado State's bench 27-8. The 22nd time this season, the Aztecs bench has outscored the opponent. But the problem was losing on the road to Colorado State. Mark Ziegler had in his article about where the team is right now, with ongoing conversations about where they're going to play next year and everything like that. A lot of distractions for a team that saw their chances of making it as an at-large bid go from 65% to now 27%, as according to the latest metrics.
Yeah, this was truly a devastating loss for San Diego State as far as the championship window is concerned for them. I mean, they have to win the conference tournament now. There's really no other way in. But in order to even consider winning the championship, the conference tournament, you have to really buckle down against Utah State later this week. And then you've got Boise State, you've got New Mexico as well. I mean, that is a rough go of it you've put yourself in.
They're still on the bubble, but they're on the bubble out. Their resume is now out of the top 50, which is not great in terms of making the tournament as an at-large. We said 2-1 against those next three opponents, and you got a good chance. That was assuming that you beat Colorado State and take care of business against Grand Canyon. Now you got to go a perfect 3-0 against Boise State, New Mexico on the road. They're both quad one games, and then at home against Utah State, also a quad one game. The tournament committee looks at quad one wins, and the Aztecs right now have one, and they need more than that if they want to make the NCAA tournament outright. Otherwise, they're going to have to get hot in Vegas. Now, the good news is for the Aztecs, in terms of trying to win the regular season outright, they still could do that. Utah State lost over the weekend. So you're getting a Utah State team that lost over the weekend, limping in here to Viejas Arena. You really got to bring your A game against the Aggies if you want to even consider being in that position, as well as trying to win a share of the Mountain West Conference at the end of the regular season. But this is an Aztec formula that has been strong defensively and bench scoring, but they have now lost back-to-back games, and that rarely happens under Coach Dutcher. So hopefully they can bounce back and beat Utah State on Wednesday. Now, men's baseball, early season highlights. Rohan Latau named Mountain West Pitcher of the Week after a 3-0 shutout against BYU on Friday, struck out 10. Aztecs did stumble in the Tony Gwynn legacy against USD. They lost 15-4 after the Toreros got off to a hot start. And they got an upcoming challenge. I mean, they got to go up to UCLA on Tuesday, number 1 of the country. And then they will go up to the Pacific Northwest to take on Washington. Tough weekend for the Aztecs. They did beat BYU, had a tough time against Utah, and then USD really exposed the lack of pitching depth for the Aztecs.
Yeah, I think it was 11-0 in like the second inning or so.
11-0 after 2.5 innings.
Yeah, so USD really put it on them in that last game. But for San Diego State, new head coach, we're trying to figure out different ways of doing things. We're trying to find our standing, as it were, not just with the Mountain West, but with ourselves as well. So it's you can kind of see the iffy start in there, but there's still a lot of time left in this baseball season.
They handled Long Island pretty easily, and then they ran into some tough competition. Irvine on a Tuesday. They're one of the best teams in Southern California to play in this Tony Gwynn Legacy tournament. Obviously, beating BYU was good out of the Power Four. Losing to Utah was tough because I watched that Utah team play in person, and they're not very good. But the thing is with Kevin Vance, he's a pitching guy, and he runs the pitching staff. And the biggest problem that the Aztecs had against USD was just throwing strikes. I mean, that's an it's not easy to fix sometimes, but it's a fixable problem. They had good stuff. They couldn't throw strikes. 12 free passes in the first 3 innings issued by Aztec pitching. And that is 9 walks and 3 hit batsmen led to 11 runs. I mean, the Torero's got 11 runs on 5 hits. To get are hilarious. Sam dropped a Frankie free pass on you today. Frankie left turns, Frankie 500. What were the other NASCAR ones we've gotten? We've gotten some good ones for Frank. Frankie left turns, Frankie 500, Frankie free pass.
IndyCar starting this week, Formula One next week, Frankie front wing.
Frankie front wing. You know who works IndyCar?
Crumb.
Crumb, yeah.
Yes.
Crumb works IndyCar.
I'll probably see him next Saturday then.
Oh, is he? Because IndyCar's going to Phoenix? Yeah, You'll definitely see him next Saturday. Ask him if he wants ketchup on his tacos. Frankie front wing. Frankie feel goods. Frankie 500. There was another one too, because I texted the 2 NASCAR people I know.
It's like I feel like I'm being accepted.
That you were complaining about the All-Star game. All-Star race, whatever the hell it is. And I'm not going to get in the details nor start the diatribe of Frank's
don't start that.
Passionate disapproval of the NASCAR All-Star race. And you got called Frankie 500 and Frankie free pass. Frankie 4 wheels, man. I you know what? We got to write these down somewhere. These are great.
I like MotoGP also. So I like the 2-wheel stuff too.
I have now inspired Frank to come up with different nicknames for himself.
No,
you know what?
Which if I've learned anything about nicknames over my life, those will never stick. It's always the nicknames that are given to you.
Frankie Casings. We should ask ChatGPT. We like these nicknames where it's the play on words, but what do you think? Might have to ask it. All right, Frankie 500. What do we got on today's sports thread?
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk. Brought to you by QC Kinetics. Stop sitting on the sidelines. QC Kinetics gets you back in the game without surgery. To learn how, visit QCkinetics.com.
All right, Frankie free pass. What do we got today?
I will say I don't like Frankie free pass because that would mean I'm slow and I'm not on the lead lap and I'm getting a lap back. So no, thank you on that one. And Frankie 500 sounds like a fat joke. Thank you, Juan.
Juan, always here to crush it.
He draws the foul.
Say that about the recovering fat guy. That's nice. Love you too, buddy.
Number 1.
I just got a DM from our guy, Josuelo, who goes, I'm sorry, he finally heard the ketchup on tacos bit. He's like, that's a double technical.
Oh, no.
Get him out. Get him out. Get him out.
Forget about
foul out for Crumb.
Forget about doxing people at their job to try to get them fired. Just tell Fox, hey, do you know this guy puts ketchup on a taco? See what they do then. This is one that you talked about yesterday off air, so I figured we'd start with this one. The University of Cincinnati has sued former quarterback Brendan Sorsby in federal court, alleging he breached an 18-month NIL contract by transferring to Texas Tech and refusing to pay a $1 million exit fee outlined in the agreement. The school claims Sorsby, who threw for 2,800 yards and 27 touchdowns last year, committed to play through 2026, but entered the portal in January and quickly signed a reported $4 to $6 million NIL deal with the Red Raiders, even appearing on a Times Square billboard announcing his move. Cincinnati argues it paid him with the expectation of reaping long-term benefits and is now seeking liquidated damages, adding to a growing list of NIL-related legal battles across college athletics. Are exit fee clauses in NIL fair protection for the schools, or do they unfairly restrict players' mobility in the free transfer era?
Yeah, they're fair game. That's just what you have in pro sports, right?
Yeah.
You signed a deal. You can't leave. If you break the contract, you might owe damages. It was probably stated in said contract. You're not allowed to leave, and if you do, you pay money. You signed it, dummy. There are consequences to your actions. I know a lot of college athletes don't understand that concept because they've never had consequences for their actions. But yeah, more of this, please. NCAA, start throwing in more rules. And you wanted to be a pro. It's time to be a pro. These are pro rules.
And I told you this yesterday. I think you're going to start seeing the NCAA really start to kick in now, because when this NIL thing started, they took such a beating in the court of public opinion as far as people just saying, oh, let them have it. You guys are being a bunch of curmudgeons. They're doing this. They want this. They want this. You guys have been benefiting off of them for years. Now it's starting. The pendulum has gone completely in the opposite direction, where these kids are doing everything they can to get as much money as they can and be damned any sort of standard put on themselves or the school. Lawmakers and judges are starting to rule in favor of the NCAA in these cases. So now the NCAA has some not only public momentum to reel this back in, but they also have some legal momentum now too. So I believe, yeah, it's going to start coming back the other way, where the NCAA is going to start more or less doing its job again.
I haven't been like super in on the NCAA over the last like 10 to 8 to 10 years because I think they made a lot of dumb decisions. But you know what? I'm in favor of the NCAA dropping the hammer down and making it impossible to leave schools, and making it impossible to have this chaos, and making the penalties insane. They just had they're putting in a rule right now about players avoiding the transfer portal entirely and just dropping out and resigning. If you sign one of those guys, your coach misses 6 games, you give up like 20% of your roster in terms of scholar. Like, they're setting the hammer on some of these things. They should.
Yes. 100%.
It's all about level the playing field. This is as much as there's a lot of money to be made in college sports, this should be about the fairness of the play, of the level of the sport. This should be about the quality of play and making everything fair in terms of competition, more so than like the big teams making the most money. That's why I thought it was funny. I sent that to you this morning.
Yeah.
According to the Big Ten of the SEC, pooling all the TV contracts for all the conferences would be that would not be sustainable. That's not good. That would be catastrophically bad for everybody in college football. Really? The 2 conferences that make all the money in TV money, having to share it with other conferences so everybody's on a level playing field to kind of pool the TV contracts like every other league is trying to do right now at the professional level. You're telling me that wouldn't be good for
Correct.
you guys, right? Oh, that wouldn't be great for the better level of equity and competition. No, we don't. It would not be great. No, it would be catastrophically bad.
How
shocking?
How would we be able to pay a fine football program like Purdue as much money as we do to be as good as they are if we can't like keep the money that we bring in? Come on.
All of a sudden, they start talking like Notre Dame. Oh, that's not fair. Pull it all together.
Yeah,
Number 2.
so ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Phoenix Suns owner Matt Ishiba.
He's back in the news again.
Not for anything bad though.
But really?
He wants more.
I know it's like the Bart. No, what do you mean? I'm right here. Oh, sorry.
Force a habit. He wants more star power in next year's All-Star Weekend when Phoenix hosts, offering a $1 million prize to the winner of both the slam dunk and three-point contests, plus $1 million to charity for each event, in an effort to entice top players to participate. However, NBA and union officials told ESPN that the proposal does not align with the league's current bonus structure. God. And Ishiba did not clear the idea with the league office beforehand, even as the dunk contest struggled to attract current All-Stars since Blake Griffin's 2011 win. With this year's event won by Miami's Keyshawn Johnson, while Damian Lillard captured another three-point crown. Would a $1 million prize actually convince today's superstars to compete, or is the All-Star Weekend issue about prestige and risk, not money?
If you made it worth playing for money-wise, they will do it.
Yes.
It's not a hard concept. Major League Baseball did the same thing. Like, if you offered a ton of money for these competitions, they'd play in it. But the thing is, they make so much money now anyway. It's like that. Do I really want to do that for an extra $2 million when I'm making 40?
Union says no.
You want to incentivize it? You want to get to winning team? You get to split $1 billion. Yeah, sick. I just threw that out there because it's crazy. Because if you think about it from an MLB standpoint, there's too many guys in the team. You would have to make. It would have to be a significant amount of money for them to like make it a big deal. Because they make so much money now. There's no reason. There's no incentive.
And the All-Star games mean absolutely nothing. You just mentioned it with baseball. The the MLB All-Star game went down the drain when they took away home field advantage for the World Series. Nobody cares now. The NHL changes its format every single year to try to draw some form of interest to the All-Star game. The NBA All-Star game, no one plays defense. Scores are 250 to 242. No one wants to see that. So I think there's a lot more in these skills competitions where instead of playing a game, you have these all-stars go up against each other in these skills competitions to see who is the best at their certain skill. You're not playing a game. You're not having to, quote unquote, compete. Just go out there, have the skills competition, start the year back up again.
Then I will not watch because that's boring. That's where their problem is. They have to get something that people want to watch. People don't want to watch that. And then you have to incentivize it with what they want. What do people want?
I love watching the NHL skills competition.
Yeah.
That was the best part about it.
Are you taking time out of your day to do that now? Probably not.
Well, no.
You have to make it something that is entertaining enough for people to stop what they're doing to watch it. And you have to give the players an incentive to do it. What incentivizes people to do things? It's money. That's what it is. Or maybe we give them some, I don't know throw in whatever you think the players really want, and the winner gets that.
Yeah.
You can't give them a car anymore because they can afford every car in the market. It's come to a point where they're making all this money that like this doesn't matter unless you make it an enormous amount of money, or you let them you give the team extra wins or something like that. I don't know what you would do, but you have to give them an incentive to do it. These are professionals now. They're not playing for the love of the game. They're playing because it's their livelihood.
Playing for the love of the
wallet. It's a
wallet.
job, right? You have to incentivize me to do other things at my job, right? If you look at it from a standpoint of like work and everybody else's work, are you going to do your work for free, for fun?
No.
For another event at your job? No. You're going to be like, what am I getting out of it? That's the kind of concept for them. It's just fun for us. It's a job for them. Noon lunchtime hour. Where the tacos at?
It's time to fire it up. From the beaches to the ballparks, from the gas lamp to North County, no one knows America's finest city like he does.
You can't just punt on a Manny Machado prime use.
He's a fourth-generation San Diegan, born and raised in the heart of this community. Passionate, opinionated, and always bringing you the real talk on your teams, your city, and everything in between.
Braden totally knows his stuff. He's ready for the next step. That guy is good.
Live and local, it's the Braden Surprenant Show.
But I think Braden's one of the up-and-coming young stars in the media game in San Diego.
Now, here's your host, Braden Surprenant.
New lunchtime hour, 97.3 The Fan. Tacos? Tacos?
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
Tacos. I could use some tacos today. I missed out on, like, yesterday was...
almost like a tease for something coming soon. Said it's almost.
Enough out of you. We don't need, no, stop. You're Sicilian. You didn't learn to just zip it? You can't be just blabbing.
What did I blab?
You were starting to talk, dude. You gotta let the cat out of the bag.
Oh, stop it.
Tacos? Jeremiah?
I'm waiting for the tacos. Where the damn tacos at?
Wow, Juan got Mona Lisa's today. Sounds good. I went to the Ducks game last night.
Where's the drop-off one?
Yeah, what the heck, man? Rod drops off Mona Lisa's for us because he's cool. Just saying. You're going to pick on Frank like that, at least bring him a sandwich.
At least make it worth my while.
Yeah, that's right. Frankie cold cuts. Frankie natty casings. I went up to the Ducks game last night. That was a great time, by the way. It was fun.
Yeah, you guys picked a hell of a game to go to.
Great game to go. Well, looking at the schedule, it made sense because she had beach volleyball practice till about 5:30, right? So, like, making a 7 o'clock game would have been a nightmare anyway. So it was a 7:30 start. Plus, they're playing Edmonton, and they have Connor McDavid. And I'm like, oh, it's great. I get to go watch Connor McDavid. She's never been in an NHL game before.
Okay.
I've been to a couple Ducks games. I have not seen the Ducks lose in person. Anaheim. Maybe you should give me free tickets. I'm just saying. Maybe you guys would have won the Pacific Division a little bit more if you just invited your boy up to the pond a couple more times. I'm just saying. I have not seen that team lose in person. I watched them play in Dallas against the Stars. Dallas Stars. Yeah. Beat their ass. Go Ducks. That was when I was in college. Came back. I was home for spring break around that time. Went on my birthday. Watched them beat the Preds that year. That's when the Predators were good.
What's your
Pecorine was actually good.
What's your record over at the if the Ducks play at the pond, the Gulls? What's your record at the puddle?
Did you just call Pechanga Arena the puddle?
Well, if it's the pond, if the big arena is the pond, and then the Gulls.
Or do Gulls hang out in the puddle? Do they hang out in puddles? Have you seen the Seagulls in town hang out? Ducks hang out in ponds. That's why it makes sense.
It can't be.
Why not?
It's the minor league team. It can't be bigger than a pond. It's the minor league team. They can't have a bigger home than the major league team.
Seagulls go. Why don't you just call it the beach?
Because that's bigger than a pond.
It doesn't. What, are we playing the?
Yes, we are.
Are you questioning your own manhood right now as a Ducks guy?
Stop it.
What are we doing here?
No.
Foul on Frank.
He draws the foul.
You're thinking Frankie bodies of water. There it is. This is shrinkage week based on the stat we had earlier. So I think you're looking way too into it. Did you drive the lifted truck to work today?
God, no.
Did you drive the lifted F-350 to work today?
No.
He's kept that at home today?
I don't have money like that.
Well, you know what? Buy a used one, maybe.
I still don't have money like that.
How about the kiddie pool?
Okay,
Seagulls. Anyway.
There you go, the kiddie pool.
I don't know my record for the Gulls at Pechanga Arena. I
think
you
throw enough French fries and like discarded fast food around a puddle, I'm sure you'll find some seagulls.
I think probably like 2-2, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I went to a couple of games when they first came back. I've been to a handful of Gulls games. I can't remember what the finals were. They were also mostly dollar beer night. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. So we went to the Ducks game yesterday. So again, our practice ended at 5:30. We drove up there. I'm driving up. Not too much traffic in San Diego at that time because it's like 6 o'clock. And then as we were passing through Pendleton, 5 South was just a parking lot. And I'm like, well, hopefully that's gone by the time the game's over.
It's usually, what, like 10 o'clock?
Yeah, well, it wasn't, but I'll get to that in a second. I got up to the Ducks game. Here's what's cool about the Ducks, and maybe this is because they're constructing OC vibe up there. And so, like, it's kind of a pain to get into the game and all that other stuff. The Ducks have a policy where your ticket gets you free parking.
Which is incredible.
It is incredible.
Very smart business decision on their part.
Yeah, because, like, if you break down the business side of it, I mean, they can label it as free parking. If you raise the ticket prices by, $10, $15 a pop and then just make it free parking, now you're essentially getting $15 per ticket for parking. And you have these car. I mean, not everybody in that arena is driving themselves to the arena. They're usually bringing other people that also have tickets. Now you're getting everything paid for in the parking lot. And it was the easiest in and out of I have ever experienced at any game. They built this brand new parking garage next to the the 57 freeway, and I
believe so. Yeah,
they have like 3 or 4 lanes. It reminds me of a bigger parking garage that they have at UTC. The UTC parking garage, they have like 4 lanes in and 4 lanes out, mm-hmm. Right? And so they were just pumping people through there, and you don't have to stop to pay. You don't have to stop to show your pass. None of that. You're just like it. They didn't even check to see if I had tickets. I guess if you're dumb enough to go into a parking garage during a game that you don't have tickets for, to sit in the traffic to get in and out of said parking lot when there's nothing around, if you're going to do that just for free parking in the area and you want to do it, go ahead, take the free parking. I think the Ducks have been with that. But the parking was easy. We were walking into the arena's like everybody's showing up at the same time because it's SoCal. We're not even in the arena yet. 17 seconds into the game, Edmonton scores. Oh. It's already 1-0 Edmonton. And before we even got to our seats, it was 2-0 Edmonton in the first 2 minutes of the game. I know. I haven't even sat down yet. We got to our seats like 14 minutes left in the first period. There's already 2-0 Oilers.
I can't do that. You said you had your friend had practice, right?
Yeah.
You said
what 5:30.
Time that ended at 5:30? Okay.
Game started at 7:30.
Okay, that's a little bit that's more understandable.
If she didn't have practice, I would have left a lot earlier and got out there an hour before. But the problem was the 57 gets backed up anyway. And then everybody off the freeway is getting funneled into the garage, and everybody showed up at the exact same time.
Yeah, I can't. I have to be, if I'm going to a sporting event as a spectator, I don't have to be there right as the gates open, but I do have to be there like a minimum hour early. I can't.
The Ducks recommended that you get there an hour early.
I cannot be late. It drives me nuts. If I'm late to a game, I go insane. I hate it so much.
So I thought the process was great. I spent a little bit more. I mean, the fact I don't go to the pond a lot because I got to drive up there and, the drive back, obviously, with traffic.
Go to the puddle more often.
Yeah. So but it's fun to watch NHL hockey, and I had never seen it that up close. So I bought tickets in the. The Honda Center has like the 100s are on the surface for like concerts, like the 200s, like the lower bowl, and they weren't like super expensive. And I bought them through the NHL ticket provider, so like you didn't have the fees as much.
Yeah.
Let me know. Is this make me an ass or is this a hack move? There were 4 seats. I bought the 2 middle ones of the 4, so nobody sat next to me. 2 single seats.
That's fair.
I think it's fair.
That's
if I'm allowed to do that, why does it matter?
I'm doing the same thing, if I'm honest.
So it was great. I had an open seat to my right. She had an open seat to her left. Whatever. It's awesome. So maybe that's, you know what? At that point, because I bought the tickets.
Back-to-back comments. You're an ass, and that's fair.
You're an ass.
Back-to-back comments.
Fair. I get that from a standpoint as somebody that has to sell tickets a lot because I have to sell my TC tickets a lot. But I only have 2, so can't have the singles. But I bought them the day of. It's not like they did. Nobody bought the ones next to me, and the other tickets that were behind me were also paid. Also had not been bought. So you know what? They made some money on the tickets. I don't feel bad. If I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do it. I don't think I'm against the rules.
You bought them day of?
I bought them yesterday. Yeah, yesterday morning.
You've been telling me for like a week you were going.
I know. I was waiting for the ticket prices to go down.
Okay.
I saved like $50 a pop on like some of those tickets.
Fair enough.
You got to play it like a stock market game. You got to buy low and sell high, Frank. I mean, that's how ticket works. I mean, there's a lot of tickets that like plummet right before the end of the right before the beginning of the game. I mean, if I wanted to wait longer, I would have bought tickets on the way up there. But I checked in the section I was looking at. It started to dwindle very quickly. And so I was like, all right, well, I got to pull the trigger on these. So we had a great time. We sat in the corner on the benches side on the net that the Ducks go to twice. Fun time. I thought the entertainment was great. I think the Ducks do a lot of great things. I mean, the place was packed 7:30 on a Wednesday. I know they hadn't seen hockey in 2 weeks, whatever it is, but it was
about 3 weeks. Yeah.
It was a 6-5 contest. We watched we saw every single Ducks goal last night, despite missing 2 of the Oilers goals. But it was fun. It was a fun game. And watching Connor McDavid in person, my Lord. I don't think
they called him Connor McJesus coming up for a reason. He is that good. That's not a joke. He is the best player the league has to offer. Period.
I just think that hockey is another one of those sports where if you watch the highest level, like the NHL, and you watch it in person, it's way more entertaining than watching it on TV. It's one of those sports that you don't appreciate the sport until you watch it in person. I mean, they were doing some just insane stuff. A couple of fights broke out. The hits were huge. The speed is incredible. What they could do with the puck is unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've seen highlights of Connor McDavid, and I've watched them play the Ducks before on TV. Does not do it justice. I mean, there was a couple of times he went through all 5 players of Anaheim, like effortlessly.
I have not been I've been on the field for some of the college games. I've never been on the field for a pro game. My uncle, who got me into radio, used to go to the Meadowlands all the time. He said watching NFL players hit each other is like witnessing a car crash.
It's nasty.
I totally understand when television does not do the speed at which hockey players skate, the viciousness and the violence of the hits. It does not do it justice. You have to be there in order to see it and really get an appreciation for it.
It's the same thing as golf too. Like, I never appreciated golf. I mean, I liked golf, and I played golf as a kid, like on Sundays, and I was in a father-son league over at Oaks North, and it was a great time. But then, like, watching it was terrible on TV. And then I covered the Farmers Insurance Open. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. Yeah. These guys are so good. There's certain sports like that. Hockey's one of them, because everybody, and Juan probably disappeared in the chat because he hates the hockey talk, but watching hockey on TV is like, you put it on in the background and you work on stuff.
It's there.
At the game, I was just like laser focused the entire time. You could actually follow the puck down there. I mean, you get to watch the line changes. It's fun. It was entertainment. I loved it. It was great. Obviously, it was a great game to be at, 6-5, and they scored the go-ahead goal by Cutter Gauthier.
No, it was it Gauthier or was it
That was
Leo?
Gauthier. That was the one where he was like right next to the net with under a minute to go.
I thought it was Leo Carlson that scored the last one.
I thought Gauthier was the one that was right there at the net at the end to take the lead. Where I sent you the thing where it's like, oh, he's wide open. Look, he's wide open.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That was Gauthier.
I could have swore it was I could have swore that it was Carlson that scored the game winner, looking back at it.
No, it's Gauthier. Gauthier wears 61. Carlson assisted.
Oh, okay.
Gauthier got the game winner.
He's yes.
He's standing
no, you're right.
next to the net with his stick in the air, waving to Carlson that nobody is around. Nobody's around me. Give me the puck.
Leo scored the first goal in the period. That's where I got it backwards.
I mean, they scored 6 goals. Leo is probably part of at least one of them.
6 different goal scorers for Anaheim last night.
So Gautier's just sitting next to the net. Nobody's covering him. He's waving his stick in the air. Pass me the rock. And then he misses the first time. A quick one-timer miss off the net. And then he's so open, Frank, and so quick. He gets the rebound off of the miss and then sneaks it past the backup goalie because they ended up dropping Jerry at the end because he gave up 2 quick goals to start the third period.
Something that Nathan McKinnon couldn't do on Sunday morning.
I did think it was a cool thing. They honored the players, obviously, that played in the Olympics. That was cool. The other thing that they had Dostal gave up those 2 goals quick in the second period. And Gudas, who was his teammate for Czechia, he went over there to give him a pep talk right before. And it's just like this guy's been on the same country team, same NHL team. Those different relationships out there are very interesting. But it was a great game. I thought it was fun.
And at the end of the night, Joel Quenneville is 1,000th career win, so congratulations to him. And also the sultry tones of Ben Affleck. For those of you who don't know, that is a literal duck flapping its feet on a pair of bongos.
Playing a drum, Ben Affleck. So we got in the car and getting out of the parking structure, not hard, very easy. Seeing the route that we were going to take, I said, check to see if the 5 still backed up. And it said, I looked at the map. 2 hours and 40 minutes to get home from the Honda Center if you took Interstate 5 because it got down to one lane. Or you could take the 91 to the 15 in Corona, and that was going to be an hour and 48 minutes. We decided to do that instead.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine why. It's not like you had work or anything the next morning.
Right. I mean, that's fine. Got home at like midnight or something. I knew I was going to get home late because it was a 7:30. And the thing is
it's a question I've gotten many times, by the way, which is why I left.
No, she stayed up the whole time. Because it's great to take the train. The problem was the last train that you could take to the Honda Center to make the 7:30 game is like 5:20.
Yeah,
which we never would have made it from Scripps Ranch to Solana Beach for the 5:20 train. Otherwise, I would have taken the train. But the downside of the train is you get back to Solana Beach at midnight, and now I got to drive from Solana Beach home at midnight. The train back is not as great as the train up. The train up, you're usually beating traffic. The train home, you're not beating traffic because there's usually not a lot of traffic.
And you know me,
coming back.
I like my trains.
Yeah.
If you are relying on and train to take you somewhere on time, you're in a bad spot. Trains are for the leisure traveler. They're not for, hey, I have to be here at this time. If you have to be somewhere, grab an earlier train. Yeah, I can probably make it. I can probably make it there by 7 if I hit the 5 o'clock train. No, take the 4 o'clock train. Just trust me on that one. Take the early train.
So it was a fun time last night at the Ducks game. Had a really good time. It was really seamless getting in, seamless getting out, very easy. But I only had like the concessions were a little off. But that, you know what, they're redoing the Honda Center as they redo OC Vibe at the same time. So, but it was fun. It's a great experience. When we come back, I do want to talk more about Padres baseball. We're going to talk about the Padres position battles in a little bit. But I also want to look at some other news in college sports that are very interesting. When we come back, we will discuss the Padres rotation position battles as we continue our coverage of Padres spring training in this month of February. And the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego State Sports Station 97 to the Fan. San Diego FC didn't just open its second MLS season. It made a statement. 5-0 a demolition of CF Montreal at Snapdragon Stadium. And the biggest headline, 19-year-old San Diego native making his first MLS start and pitching a clean sheet, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. Duran Furry, Del Norte High School, former San Diego Loyal. Former San Diego Loyal product, starting in the MLS because Pablo Cisniega was suspended and CJ Dos Santos still recovering from his injury. So Fariz steps in and didn't miss a step. I mean, early save in the 4th minute, commanding catch off the corner in traffic, 2 total saves, a clean sheet, a very, very calm night for Furry between the sticks.
Yeah, and as Mikey Varas said, the head coach of San Diego FC, the moment will never be too big for him. That's not just coach speak, that's belief. And in a league where goalkeeper mistakes get magnified, Furry looked composed, controlled, and confident. This wasn't survival. This was, I belong here in the MLS. And what a great showing again from a San Diego kid representing San Diego FC and the city.
Yeah, and again, he got thrown right into the fire immediately. He had to make a huge save right in the opening goes of it. So after that, San Diego FC kind of got their legs under them. Montreal got a red card, and the night was pretty much over for him.
That was the part 1 of the game on Saturday. Part 2 in this 4-part series. Anders Dreyer is him, Frank. Young keeper held it down in the back. The attack was clinical. Anders Dreyer picked up right where he left off. He had assist on Chris McVeigh's opener. He had assist on Mark-André Vargson's goal. Constant pressure in transition. Last year, 16 assists, second to only Messi. And he is the face of the franchise. This year, already setting the tone. Dreyer isn't just productive, he's decisive. And when he's pulling the strings, offense moves fast. And you saw that on Saturday in person.
Yeah, and that beautiful goal, I believe it was by Amal Pellegrino at the very end of the first half. He's not going to get credit on the assist for that because it was a shot that was saved. But even the way he took that shot, it's a 2-on-1, and he's coming up the right side. shoots it to the left of the keeper. Keeper has no choice but to deflect it left, which is right where Amal Pellegrino was, who was there for an open tapper. So he had a major part in 3 goals last night. He's only going to get credit for 2 apples, but 3 assists, more or less, last night, on Saturday night.
And that brings up a good talking point about the depth being real. And that's the part 3 of this 4-part story about the game on Saturday. What made the game impressive? It wasn't just the score. It was who contributed. You mentioned Pellegrino scored again. Valakari ripping one from distance. 18-year-old
beautiful shot.
Right to dream grad. And Brian Zamble scoring 2 days after signing with San Diego FC. Young players stepping into meaningful roles. Not a star-dependent soccer team, system soccer. And when Montreal went down to 10 men after the red card, as you mentioned, Frank, at the 53rd minute, San Diego FC buried them. No mercy, 3-goal surge around halftime, and they never looked back. That shows signs of maturity, but also benefiting from the youth movement. And again, the system under Mikey Varas has been so successful in his now year and now in year 2 of being at the helm of San Diego FC.
And those last 2 goals, the one by Oni Valakari, it was a beautiful back heel kind of stop from Ingvartsen that set him up for a beautiful shot. And then, as you mentioned, Brian Zambele, the right to dream grad, the San Diego FC's pride and joy, really. Just a beautiful, beautiful solo effort from him to be able to get a goal from a pretty sharp angle as well, and then to ingratiate himself with the San Diego FC faithful, jumping right into the ultras after that goal, got the crowd fired up again. That came late in the game too, to make it 5-0, and Zambelli really took his moment to shine there.
Let's get to part 4. What does this win really mean? Let's keep the perspective. It's just one match. And Montreal went down a man, and they didn't have a good year last year. It's early February, but 5-0, not really accidental. And what stands out, the club continues to lean to the youth, and it keeps working. From Farida Zamble to core pieces from last year, SDFC isn't patching holes with veterans. They're developing, trusting, and accelerating talent. And that's a philosophy that San Diego FC has had a lot of success with, which asks the question, Frank, is San Diego FC officially building the most sustainable model in the MLS, or are we getting carried away after one blowout?
Might be getting a little bit too ahead of ourselves, but there's a lot of reason to think that it would work, because you're seeing young guys able to fill holes. Luca Bombino's another young player, Pilcher, who didn't play.
We got to get to this, and we have a little bit of time here before we talk about the rotation battles or position battles for the Padres. And it is a Thursday, but I do want to mention we got Padres action right now. They're in the top of the 2nd inning in Little, Ohio, where the Guardians and the Reds host teams. That's their complex in Goodyear. Top of the 1st inning for the Padres. Johnson, who led off, flew out to center. Fernando struck out. Machado walked. Gavin Sheets hit a single. Chase Burnson had a wild pitch that got Sheets to second to make runners on 2nd and 3rd, and then Ty France struck out. For the Reds against Nick Pivetta, fly out by Friedel, strikeout by McLean, Ellie De La Cruz hit a triple, and then Eugenio Suarez flew out to Fernando to end the bottom of the 1st. Top of the 2nd, it's Sungmoon Song to lead things off, and he strikes out swinging in his first at-bat. Taylor is ahead in the count 3-0, and you're updated on Padres baseball.
Really quick, just to continue on the Anaheim Ducks thing. I guess somebody, Derek Lee, who I guess is a reporter for them, would be my guess. Yeah, I believe for the Hockey News. He just put out a video about an hour ago. I guess the Ducks invited a bunch of like the local elementary school kids in the area.
Oh, nice.
And there are thousands of elementary school kids at the Honda Center today watching the Ducks practice.
That's great.
It's incredible.
I'm telling you, they had a full house there for a reason last night. I mean, they do a lot of the parking is free with the ticket. I think that's a great move. It's free to watch their games on Victory Plus. which is also great. I mean, they do a lot of things and here's the other thing too, Frank. You know what the best part? You know what the Ducks do the best? They've embraced Orange County, where the Angels pretend that they're LA. Seriously, that's a huge thing. They're even orange. I mean, they changed their colors to orange. They got their third alternate. Usually, their alternate jersey used to have the OC on the shoulder. I mean, they have fully embraced. We're not LA. We're Orange County. We're Orange County's team. And you know what Orange County did? They're like, this is our team. They've also won, which is also great for them.
What did your friend think of the animatronic flying ducks?
They didn't have that.
They didn't
I didn't see. It wasn't in the second intermission. We were looking for them. The first intermission, we went and got food, so they might have been during then.
But
They only did it during the first intermission, if that was the case.
Oh, they might have done a pregame too.
They could have done a pregame, which we weren't there for because somebody's got to coach beach volleyball, whatever. But anyway, let's get to the. I got to get to the Sacramento State story. Did you see this week?
Yes, you've been telling me about it. Yes,
I've told you about. It's just, oh my god. Some of the people that work in the Ducks are flown pregame. No wonder I didn't get to see it. Those things are sick. You want to know why? Because I feel like they do it during the intermissions because they use it as replays or like ins and outs of the TV broadcast during the intermissions. Anyway, back to Sacramento State. So they're going to the MAC, right? Everybody knows they're going to the MAC. Do we know what the MAC stands for? It was on Final Jeopardy last night. The Mid-American Conference.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of something funny.
We were talking about Sac State going to the Mid-American Conference. We made fun of it. We actually have it as one of our commercial breaks on YouTube and all that fun stuff. That's in Ohio and Michigan and Indiana and Illinois and the middle of and Massachusetts and New York. Sacramento's in California, but yes.
What?
TCU used to have. They had so many. TCU had so many California students when I was there.
Gotcha.
That they had a T-shirt that said California Republic on it, and it was the California state flag, but instead of the bear, it was a horned frog.
Gotcha.
Wonderful shirt. Anyway,
should have got one.
I had one. It's just wrecked now. It's just been worn too much. So Sacramento State, they announced their move to the MAC, and in doing so, their school leadership, so smart, highlighted the bold projections they were going to get in joining the MAC. $975 million in athletic economic impact over 5 years, $675 million national broadcast valuation, $46 million increase in game day revenue, and a 15% of the revenue going to academics starting in 2027. That sounds great.
Yeah,
Frank.
That's quite a boost for the school. That's quite a boost for Sacramento. I mean, that's great, you know.
It's great, right? On the surface, it sounds
it's awesome.
It's transformative. That's what it sounds like. But well, deeper reporting by CBS Sports suggests that the numbers might be a little inflated, or at minimum, highly speculative. Let me explain. Collegiate Counseling, originally, they came in to survey this and calculate for Sacramento State what the impact would be financially before they spend all this money to go to the FBS, right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems responsible, Frank, does it not?
It would, yes.
Okay, so the Collegiate Consulting Agency, whatever it is, they calculated the current FCS annual impact is $62 million a year for the FCS schools, and the FBS projected annual impact is $194 million a year. That seems promising, right? Sounds good. But here's what the school did. The school took that information and they rounded it up to $195 million, add another million to it, and then they multiplied that by 5 years and got to, we're going to make $975 million over 5 years.
So what they did was very responsible.
Of course.
How they interpreted it was not very responsible.
Correct. The problem, the consulting firm CEO publicly questioned how the school came up with the numbers that they announced. The guy that did the original survey that gave him the information was like, that's not what we gave you. I don't know where you got this information from.
Brother, your math is so wrong. I need you to show your work.
Show the work, buddy.
Show your process, please.
He explicitly said the $675 million broadcast valuation that we talked about to begin this segment was not in our report. We did not give you that information. That's kind of a credibility issue, isn't it?
That's called making up your own stuff, is what that is.
So let's talk about the broadcast value. The broadcast projected jump, broadcast exposure impact from 8.3 million to 120 million annually. That's a 1,312% increase in broadcast exposure. The projection that Sacramento State came up with. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You might need to write this down. Stay
Okay.
on it.
Okay, hold on.
3 midweek MAC games at 300,000 viewers.
Well, hold on. What was the original number?
The original number for I'm giving you the projected numbers.
No. What was
The original broadcast, national broadcast.
What was the number that you just said a second ago? Before you
$675 million national broadcast valuation.
Okay, 675 million valuation.
Correct. Which gives you a broadcast exposure impact of up to 120 annually, if you will. It said from 8.3 million to 120 million annually, but the number that they gave was 670 something million. What did I say? 675. So $675 million is what they expect to get over 5 years in broadcast exposure.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's over 5 years. So 675 divided by 5. So it's about 135 million a year. They did that based on the projection that there's going to be 3 midweek MAC games that get you 300,000 viewers.
Okay.
That's per game, by the way. 2 Saturday games at 700,000 viewers.
Okay.
1 Power 4 game at 1.25 million viewers.
Does Sac State realize that that the MAC is not the Big Ten or SEC or ACC or Big 12?
I don't know. Probably
Because
not.
those are their numbers. Those
Right.
aren't the MAC numbers.
Like, TCU does better than those games, but I do know when TCU plays as a Power 4 program, plays a team like Sac State, they ain't getting 1.25 million viewers. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No,
they're not getting anything. They're getting like the 300,000, maybe. So they put those numbers out, and then CBS Sports analyzed the actual MAC ratings and said, well, your midweek games are about 191,000 viewers, not 300,000. You get a Friday game, you get 320,000, so not too bad. Your Saturday MAC games, Frank, 26,000 viewers.
Yeah,
They think they're going to get 700,000 viewers to watch Sac State, who's ineligible for the postseason, taking on Ball State on a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
And then the MAC, do you know what the numbers are in terms of ratings for the MAC conference when they play a Power 4 school?
I do not know.
Approximately 300,000 viewers. They think they're going to get 1.25 million.
So
that is dramatically lower than their projections they came out with.
It was a slight over. What's the word? It was a slight overestimation.
So that broadcast exposure dropped to 81 million, which over 5 years is 405 million, which is still $275 million short of what they projected. That is a massive roundup.
You round it to the nearest whole. That's what you do.
Sac State won't be bowl eligible for 2 years. How's that going to affect it? They have to be competitive if they want to have anybody watch their game. And by the way, they're also foregoing revenue distribution for 5 years. So over those 5 years, those valuations, they're not getting a TV check. And they're still spending one thing's concrete. That's the expenses. $5 million NCAA transition fee, $18 million MAC entrance fee where you got to pay $6 million up front, $800,000 a year to cover opponent travel. Remember, they're flying to the East Coast and the Central Time Zone every single road game. No conference revenue distribution for 5 years, and the football budget is increasing to $13 million. Total athletic revenue currently is $47 million.
I could see the headlines now. You pick up the Wall Street Journal. I can see it now.
Hang on. I haven't got to the best part yet.
Okay.
That $47 million they get in athletic revenue, guess where $40 million of that comes from?
Where?
Student fees, institutional support. So just on athletics alone, they make $7 million. They need to get students to pay the $40 million of their $47 million they make in revenue. And they're going to have to pay $5 million in transition fees, $18 million entrance fee, $800,000 a year in travel expenses. They're not getting any conference revenue after making this deal for the first 5 years. Oh, and by the way, their football budget already cost $13 million.
Here's the thing: they joined the wrong AC conference. They needed to join the Power AC, not the MAC.
This is what happens when you mess up the P and the M at the beginning of the conference. Unbelievable.
I could see the headlines now.
How do you make up? Like, how do you? They threw in some others. We got to take a break. But the market question: Sacramento's the top 20 market, but midweek games are going to kick off at 4:00. Good luck. They got to compete with the Sacramento Kings and the relocated Oaklamento A's for a little bit, and they don't have any regional rivals in the MAC conference. And the novelty of we're FBS. That ain't going to last very long. What are they going to do in year 5? What are they going to do in year 3 if they're 5-7? Plus, here's the stadium input to this too. Sac State unveiled stadium reservation plans. They also claim robust NIL. They think they spent $1.7 million last year in NIL, and they're going to spend $3 million next year. But the supposed $50 million Sac 12 pledge tied to Pac 12 hopes, it's not really guaranteed. So that money that they said they were going to get to the Pac 12, they might not have that for the MAC.
I can see the headlines now. Sacramento State wins national bankruptcy case.
Nice.
Because they're not winning a game, let alone anything else.
What in the weird pyramid scheme is this about to turn into? This is, they're selling a dream right here. This is financial malpractice.
Nightmare is what it is.
Good luck.
We have a game to play next.
We got a game to play when we come back. Tyler Reddick, not just hot, he's historic. 1 week after winning the Daytona 500, Reddick followed it up with a dramatic double overtime victory in Sunday's Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway, becoming the first driver in nearly 2 decades to win the first 2 races of a Cup Series season. The last to do it, NASCAR Hall of Famer Matt Kenseth back in 2009.
Yeah, absolutely. Elite company. It's very, very hard to win the Daytona 500 plus the next race that comes up after that. And now that the next race that comes up after that is at a reconfigured Atlanta Motor Speedway, now Echo Park Speedway, that's basically turned into like a shorter, smaller version of Daytona and Talladega, where it is just a crapshoot. It's all about drafting. It's all about being in the right place at the right time and not necessarily how your car is handling. It's even more impressive, honestly, that Reddick has been able to do this. And he did it with damage too.
Yeah, he started from the pole after qualifying was rained out, led the race best 53 laps, but late in the race, his number 45 Toyota got caught up in a 9-car accident. The right front fender was mangled. The team had to tape the car up in 39-degree weather just to keep it together. And Denny Hamlin, who's part owner of this team, described it as looking like Carnage City. But it didn't matter. On the field, on the final overtime restart, Reddick zigzagged and somehow muscled his way forward, getting a huge push from Joe Gibbs Racing's Chase Briscoe, cleared teammate Bubba Wallace, and held off the field by just 0.164 seconds. 2 races, 2 wins, completely different styles.
Yeah, he was able to control a little bit at Daytona after he got past the big wreck on the final lap, and this time he had to fight from the middle of the field and really work at getting this win. A lot tighter confines around Atlanta Motor Speedway as well. So It's positioning and timing, grit, car control. He's won it all. He's won both races in very different styles this year.
And don't overlook the teamwork angle here either. Daytona, Riley Herbst delivered the key push at Echo Park. It was Briscoe, another Toyota driver, helping shove Reddick to the front. Meanwhile, Bubba Wallace led for 46 laps and looked poised to win before a late move up the track opened the door for his teammate. He finished 8th, but 23-11 Racing still leaves Atlanta sitting first and second in points, with Reddick holding a 40-point advantage.
Yeah, Reddick is off to an incredible start this year. And Michael Jordan said it best. It's really fun to be a part of 23-11 right now. And just think,
it should be.
He's 3-0 this year. He won the lawsuit against NASCAR. He's won the Daytona 500, and now he's gotten the win at Echo Park. And people still call LeBron James the greatest of all time.
I don't see LeBron James winning NASCAR events, if you will. At Echo Park, 12 cars finished within 1 second of the winner. 9 different leaders led double-digit laps, 14 total leaders overall. The racing was tight. It was chaotic. It was strategic. Drafting mattered. Patterns mattered. And execution mattered. Carson Hocevar made a daring solo move late, but couldn't find drafting help when it mattered most. Ross Chastain finished 3rd. Shane Van Gisbergen scored his best overall finish in 6th after being in 2 separate incidents. But again, the headline belongs to Tyler Reddick.
Yeah, absolutely. He did not just he did not just survive damage. He didn't just capitalize on chaos. He absolutely controlled the moment. And now he's doing something that we have not seen in this sport in 17 years by sweeping the first 2 races of the season.
And coming up next, Frank, it's a trip for the Truck Series to St. Petersburg Street Circuit coming up on February 28th. But what else is on the docket for NASCAR coming up?
Yep. So the St. Petersburg Street Circuit, which is the traditional starting point for the IndyCar Series, they are going to be starting up this weekend as well at St. Pete. This will be NASCAR's first trip to the airport at St. Pete. The Craftsman Truck Series will run there on Saturday, the 28th. That'll be at 9 a.m. on FS1. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series will be running at Circuit of the Americas on Saturday, on the same day, Saturday the 28th, at 12 p.m. Pacific time. That will be on the CW. The Cup Series will be the next day, will be Sunday from Circuit of the Americas. That'll be a 12:30 p.m. Pacific time start on Fox. But coming up before that, though, will be the opening for the IndyCar Series. That will be from St. Petersburg as well. That will also be on Fox.
That's live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. 3-1 Reds in the top of the 3rd against the Padres. Top of the 2nd inning, strikeout for Sung Moon Song. Taylor ended up walking and then getting picked off at first base. Clay Dungan then struck out swinging, and then not a great inning for the Padres. It was a walk to Spencer Steer. Will Benson singled. Marte flew out to center field. Novelli Marte. Dan Myers walked, so a lot of walks, obviously. And then Will Banfield hit a 3-run double, bases clearing double, to take a 3-0 lead, and then Friedel flew out to end the inning. Rodolfo Duran got his first hit of spring training. Frank, a solo shot to make it 3-1. Bryce Johnson struck out, and now you have a 3-1 lead for the Reds, top of the 3rd, as they just took Chase Burns out. That's your update on the Padres game today. So Pivetta, 2 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Got a little wild there in his first outing of spring. Let's get to today's game, the Midday Sports Standoff.
Welcome to Midday Sports Standoff on the Braden Surprenant Show.
I can't believe what I'm seeing right now.
The ultimate head-to-head battle where sports knowledge and quick thinking collide.
No, it's no good. Are you kidding me?
Contestants will go toe-to-toe with Braden in a sports trivia deal where every correct answer brings them closer to victory.
Down the sideline! Wow! Unbelievable!
But 3 strikes and it's game over.
This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl.
Can you outsmart Braden? The Midday Sports Standoff starts now.
All right, Frank, who we got playing today?
We have Jamie and San Isidro playing today. Jamie, how are you today?
All right, gentlemen. How you guys doing?
Good, good. All right, so today's
today's question actually had an answer get removed from it. So now there's only 8 possible answers to this one. There are 8 players that are on the 40-man roster or that are non-roster invitees that the Padres are sending to the World Baseball Classic. Who are they?
If Jamie can successfully take me down in the trivia today, he'll be qualified for a chance to win our weekly grand prize, a pair of tickets to Guns N' Roses at Snapdragon Stadium on September 2nd. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. All right, Jamie, get us started.
Well, let's say Manny Machado.
Manny will be playing for the Dominican Republic. Yes.
Let's go with the other player for the Dominican Republic, playing in his first WBC, Fernando Tatis Jr.
Fernando, correct. Jamie.
I'm pretty sure Mason Miller's going to be pitching for USA.
Mason Miller is, in fact, pitching for Team USA.
Yes, Team USA. Let's get to the Netherlands, where Xander Bogaerts is representing the Netherlands.
Correct.
That was my next guess.
So we've got 4 more here. We've got 4. Need 4 left.
Gotta think now. Hard to think when you're driving. Is Wandy Peralta going? Is he Dominican?
Wandy Peralta is pitching for the Dominican Republic.
All right, we got 5.
Yes, we have
8.
5. Yes.
Let's go with one of the Italians, Ron Marinaccio.
Correct. Ron Marinaccio is pitching for Team Italy. Jamie, you get this one right, you'll be qualified.
Well, I think I have it in the bag because I'm from Canada, and I'm two guys from Canada playing for the Padres, and that's Miguel Santiago.
You know what? He is. I don't know what to do now. Because
Why?
he is going to the World Baseball Classic for the Padres, but he's not on the 40-man roster, nor is he a non-roster invitee.
I thought. What did you say the? What did you say the rule was? 40.
I did say it was either the 40 or the non-roster invitee. He's neither one of them, but he is going to the World Baseball Classic for the Padres.
Give him a second guess.
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's another Canadian, Carter Lowen.
He's also not on. He's not on the 50-man, the 40-man, or he's not a non-roster invitee.
Non-roster invitee.
Oh my God! There's one other Italian guy, Alec Jacob.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Okay,
yes. All right. So, Jamie, you have officially qualified for the chance to win. I stay on hold here while we see if Braden can finish this one out. Braden, who is your last guess? And this is the non-roster invitee.
He's a non-roster invitee.
He has spent time on the Padres 40-man roster. He has played for the Padres, but he is a non-roster invitee.
Yeah, because it's not you're not counting Yuki Matsui, who's out now.
Yes, Yuki Matsui is out. It would have been 9 had he not been said out.
Non-roster invitee. And he's been on the roster before?
Playing for Team Mexico.
Oh.
Pitcher.
Is Bradley Rodriguez playing for Team Mexico?
No, he is not.
Non-roster invitee pitcher. Who's the only one I think of is
he's only had a couple. He's only had a couple of appearances. He hasn't been like a big name. He's had a couple cups of coffee.
I couldn't tell you. I don't know who that is.
He's Omar Cruz.
Oh, Omar Cruz.
He is the non-roster invitee. But Jamie wins. He will be qualified for a chance to win tickets to see Guns N' Roses.
Nice. Well, you should by naming all the Canadians that are not.
Yeah, exactly. That's
not on the roster. Did you know that Connor Joe was on the Mariners?
I did about 3 seconds ago when you told me.
When he was playing, so he's at second base.
By the way, the score bug for the Mariners,
You like the Mariner logo in there?
I love that so much.
There's a lot going on. That's kind of big. I've already seen 3 circus plays with the Guardians in the first inning. It's spring training for everybody. That one's in Peoria, correct? Yeah, the Mariners are home.
Yes.
A lot of these teams for the WBC are very impressive.
Yes, they are. They're immensely impressive.
Team Mexico roster. Omar Cruz is not on it.
He is showing. I looked at MLB.com. It's showing that he is a participant for the Padres.
Really?
Yes.
Because you go on MLB.com, you look up the roster. He's not on the roster. Come on.
Stop it.
He's not. He's the pitchers for Team Mexico. Alexander Armenta, Javier Assad, Brennan Bernardino, Taj Bradley, Alex Carrillo, Jesus Cruz, Luis Gastelum, Robert Garcia, Daniel Duarte, Andres Munoz, Sammy Notero Jr.
World Baseball Classic players by team from 2 days ago.
I'm looking at the Mexico roster and staff on the World Baseball Classic page.
This is from MLB.com. It's showing Xander Bogaerts, Miguel Cienfuegos playing for Team Panama, Omar Cruz, Alec Jacob, Victor Lizarraga playing for Mexico, Carter Lowen for Canada, Manny Machado, Josh Mollitz playing for Israel, Marinaccio, Matsui, Miller, Peralta, and Fernando. This is from MLB.com from 2 days ago.
I'm literally looking at the current roster of Team Mexico on MLB.com, and Omar Cruz is not on it.
I understand that, but here, I am showing here.
If you look Mexico WBC roster, you'll click on Mexico roster and staff, and there it is: 3, 6, 9, 12. They got 15 pitchers on the roster.
I'm showing my work.
That's fine.
That is so. It's like it's not. It wasn't some like bogus
is Yuki Matsui
website.
on there?
Yes, Yuki Matsui. I said Matsui's on there,
but Yuki Matsui's not on the roster for the. You didn't count Yuki Matsui.
It was from 2 days ago.
Is Yuki Matsui on that roster from 2 days ago,
brother?
I'm just asking questions.
I'm doing good questions now. Even Goaz is saying I'm doing good questions now, and you're gonna rip me for.
I'm just saying Omar Cruz is not on the roster. I'm just looking at the official roster of Team Mexico.
Oh my god!
Omar Cruz got cut this morning, and Frank.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Question. Now I'm questioning the rest of these rosters. Nope, Alec Jacob, Ron Marinaccio on the roster.
Yeah, they're not there. Sorry.
Speaking of making teams, we'll talk about the roster battles. I don't think anybody understands how our game works. It's literally back and forth, and I could get every question right and still lose. That's the whole point of the game. The game was already over at the time. The bit is just poking holes into Frank's questions. Today, I found that Omar Cruz is not on the roster, according to MLB.com. Hilarious. The, what was I going to say? Because somebody's like, oh, you're being a sore loser. It already lost anyway. I didn't get any wrong. It's not even that. It's not like I said somebody else's name and Frank's like, oh, that guy's not on there. Literally got every question right. We're trying to get people qualified. And if you just get the same amount, you automatically win. That last question was just for fun.
Who is the mic that Casita is so worried about being hot?
I think it's because we started talking before the image on YouTube flipped. That does happen sometimes.
Brother, I know. I'm trying to. He spelled Mike M-I-K-E.
Oh no, I didn't even notice that.
So who is the hot Mike that he's referring to?
Which one's hot?
I think that we have a couple of mics in chat, don't we?
Yeah. Get their number. Anyway. He doesn't mix sports. The answer is Steph Curry. What are you talking about? Go Aztecs? Is that a thing? What is this?
I don't know.
Is that Scraby related?
Oh God.
At least he doesn't mix sports. The answer is Steph Curry for USA Baseball. Oh no. Oh no. I don't know what that is. Maybe we'll find out about it after we announce today's biggest fan. Today's biggest fan. Congratulations, today's biggest fan, Eric Scribner. Scribner?
I thought Scribner.
Scribner? It'd be Scribner if there's two B's. There's only one. So Scribner it is. Eric Scribner in El Cajon. Give us a call in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game with all the fan staff later this season, catered by Spiro's Mediterranean Cuisine. Remember to register your name at 97 through the fansd.com/biggest fan. Eric Scribner in El Cajon. You got 10 minutes.
We are.
I can't wait for Eric Scribner and Scribner to both call in.
We've gotten the last 2 days. If we get 3 in a row, that is a winning streak. That is a winning streak. It has happened before.
Thanks, Lou.
Gotcha.
All right. I wanted to dive into the Padres baseball position battles a little bit.
Oh
Bang.
My God. It's 3 in a row, boys.
Winning streak. We're going to let Frank handle that for a second. And then we're going to dive into a couple other things Padres related here in the 1 o'clock hour.
We've gotten confirmation. It's Scribner.
Scribner. Wow.
Congratulations, bud.
He's qualified. So if Eric Scribner calls in, he missed out because Eric Scribner showed up first. Congratulations to Eric. All right. Let's talk about the Tyler. All mics are hot.
It's funny coming from someone named Tyler. I'd have figured someone from Mike would have pulled that one out.
No need to sacrifice a chicken today.
Exactly.
And he says we need to sacrifice a chicken. They go get the KFC. They bring the bucket of KFC over.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, they also needed a live rooster in Bull Durham.
Right.
So
the chicken bones and the bat too. Whatever those were. Give me some of that. Give me some of that. I'm in a slump right now.
Fails to qualify as he pronounces his name incorrectly.
It's better than spelling his name incorrectly.
Yes.
The update on the Padres. Wandy Peralta's come in and pitched an inning of scoreless ball. And then we had some offense here for the Pods. If you take a look in the top of the third, Duran homered to make it 3-1. Bryce Johnson struck out. Nick Sondo replaced Chase Burns. Fernando walked. Manny Machado hit a 2-run homer to take a 3-run lead. So Machado gets his first home run of spring training. Gavin Sheets then grounded out. Ty France walked. Sun-Moon Son walked. And Samad Taylor struck out. Now it's it for the Padres in the Third inning, bottom of the third, it was a 1-2-3 for Wandy Peralta, who worked a clean frame, and they go to the top of the fourth in Goodyear. That's your update on the Padres. Okay, we want to get to the position battles, right? Let's get to the position battles here. And Frank neatly laid out and color-coded. Great. I love this. This is great. Starters, bench pieces, battle for spots, possible doubtful members of this 26-man roster.
That's also another flavor I have is the OCD flavor.
Might be the flavor of the month. Let's get to the catching situation. I don't think there's anything that really needs to be said about the catching situation. I think that might be the for sure, unless there's injuries, that is the for sure locked in part of this 26-man roster. And tomorrow we'll have our updated 26-man roster prediction. We're going to do that every Friday. But as of right now, the battle between Luis Camposano potentially being a backup catcher and Freddie, for me, I don't think there's really a battle there. There's really not much more to be said. I do like what Freddie Fermin said about the situation of whatever Camposano needs, I'm gonna help. It's a great teammate aspect right there. Great vibe in the clubhouse. Love that stuff. You got anything to say about catchers for the Padres? It's pretty set in stone, I would imagine, as close to stone as humanly possible.
Pretty much what Go Aztecs said. Poor Blake Hunt.
Yes. At first base, this is where you get to a situation of, I think, competition for playing time than anything else. We're going to get to that in a second. Second base, Jake Cronenworth's the starter. Don't think there's any crazy issues there. Sungmoon Song, definitely a possible piece in the infield to be a backup. You still have Mason McCoy and Will Wagner. They have options left. So does Sungmoon Song. Xander Bogaerts going to be a starting shortstop. Manny's going to be the starting third baseman. Ramon Laureano, Jackson Merrill, Tatis will be left to right in the outfield. And your DH is probably going to be whoever's not playing first base, depending on lefty-righty. So I think all of those are pretty much set for starters. But the competition is who's going to play first base and who's going to take the final bench piece, final couple bench piece spots. I agree with Sam in a sense that I'd almost want to put Bryce Johnson in a almost lock situation for this team, which also then eliminates another spot because, you're going to have 4 bench pieces, right? One's already going to Luis Camposano. Then there's 3 left, and I really think the only one qualified to be an actual fourth outfielder is Bryce Johnson. I don't think there's anybody else, Frank, that's on that 40-man roster or is a non-roster invitee that is going to be a better fourth outfielder than Bryce Johnson.
No, and a better fourth outfielder is your everyday fourth outfielder. Like we're expecting guys like Miguel Andujar, Nick Castellanos, and Gavin Sheets to make this team. They're going to be playing other positions as well. So to be your designated fourth outfielder, Bryce Johnson really is the only guy on your roster who would fit that mold.
He 100% is, because as we talked about and you mentioned it, is Miguel Andujar a better outfielder than any of the 3 outfielders you have defensively?
No.
Is Nick Castellanos one of those guys?
No, you have plenty of outfielders on the roster, but just strict outfield, you've only got one, and that's Bryce Johnson.
Also, you always need somebody that can run.
Yes.
On the bench. That's not Nick Castellanos. That's not really Miguel Andujar. That's not Gavin Sheets. That's not Ty France. We haven't really been able to see Sungmoon Song too close. Maybe he can run, but he doesn't strike me as one of those guys. It's not Luis Camposano. You're not gonna have Luis Camposano pinch run late in the game, unless you're gonna go some old school stuff with Joe Musgrove pinch running all the time. I don't know about that. I don't think Taylor's got options. He's not one of the guys without options. One of the non-roster invitees. I'm pretty sure. I don't think he's going to be a guy that is on the opening day roster. I know he's had a pretty good camp so far, Taylor. He's had a rough day today, but he brings a lot of intangibles. But I think he's got to be a guy that if he is on the big league roster at some point is during the season.
It's also only been a week of spring training.
We haven't even played a week of games yet because the first game was last Friday. And they're still playing today. It's 3-3 in the top of the fourth. Clay Dungan grounded out. Rodolfo Duran grounded out. So that's the situation in terms of the position battles for fourth outfielders. So if you got to keep Campusano, which you do because you need a backup catcher, and he is the shoo-in to be the backup catcher, and you have to keep Bryce Johnson, now you're looking at 2 open spots for guys like Miguel Andujar / Gavin Sheets is going to make the team, right? I would imagine so. So Gavin Sheets is making the team. Nick Castellanos is probably making the team. Those are 2 guys that are going to be in the starting lineup. With Miguel Andujar, that takes up 1 more roster spot because one of those 3 guys is not going to be starting every day. Because if one plays first, the other one DHs, there's 3 to fit 2 spots. One of them's going to be on the bench. So now your bench is Campusano. It's Bryce Johnson. It's Sheets / Andujar. And it's 1 more. And it's Sungmoon Song maybe. Or Ty France maybe. I think those are the guys that are currently leaders in the clubhouse because of the fact that they gave Sungmoon Song the contract, but also that Ty France is a veteran. And then you got guys like Jose Miranda, Mason McCoy, and Will Wagner. And the other thing that plays a factor here, Frank, is Mason McCoy, Will Wagner have options to play in AAA. Ty France does not. Sungmoon Song, you could start in the minor leagues. Jose Miranda doesn't have options either. So those are the players battling really for the final spot because I really think Bryce Johnson makes this team. So it's Ty France, Jose Miranda, Mason McCoy, Will Wagner, and Sungmoon Song battling for 1 spot. That's how I see it right now.
Yeah, more or less. And that's kind of where we're at right now. I think the biggest question that's left to answer for this team right now is, at least at the moment, do you want Sungmoon Song to start in the minor leagues? That's really the biggest question that they have to face right now is if Ty France has a good enough spring training, that has a very good chance at forcing their hand. But I don't see a reason, especially Sam thinking, again, he doesn't know for a fact, but thinking that there is no minor league option clause in Sungmoon Song's contract. That seems like the best way to go about it. And again, that's not confirmed that he doesn't have that. Sam said very clearly that he was not 100% sure.
He wasn't sure about it. But I think you could start using process of elimination. Now, we're only a weekend, right? And a lot of things can change. But you start factoring in who's got options, who doesn't, and what they bring to the table. I think you can immediately cross off Will Wagner and Mason McCoy. I know they're good defensively. I understand that. But fact they're not, I don't think they're going to outplay taking somebody off of a roster.
Correct.
Or, I mean, they're 40-man roster guys. I'm not going to say that, but letting somebody else go to keep them on the 40-man, I just don't, or just to keep them on the 26-man roster, I just don't see happening. I think those guys are going to start in AAA.
What trade was Will Wagner a part of last year? I forget. I know he came over in a trade. I just don't remember.
He came over from the Blue Jays.
That might have been like a minor deal.
I think it
might have been 2 minor leaguers.
I think it was 2 minor leaguers. If I remember correctly. But I'm looking it up right now. I don't remember who the Padres gave up for.
Minor league
Brandon Valenzuela.
Yeah,
2 minor league guys. I think he starts in the minor leagues. So cross Will Wagner off the list. Cross Mason McCoy off the list, unless they just completely outplay some of the guys in front of them. Jose Miranda. I think Jose Miranda and Ty France are battling for that final spot because the next guy I would cross off would be Sung Moon Song if he has options, because if this is a guy that you have to get up to major league level speed of velocity and pitching, you're going to see some of that in the minor leagues. If he's not ready to go to see that in spring training, why rush him there if you don't need to?
Correct. Makes no sense.
It makes no sense. Do what the Dodgers did with Hyun Kim last year. Have him start in AAA. Have him get used to the pitching. I mean, he has not done well so far in spring training. He's just coming off an injury. I mean, he's going to take a lot of time. I'm not saying he's not good, but Song is still looking for his first hit and is on his OPS right now is 286. That is a guy that I would rather get right in the minor leagues and try things out with Ty France, who's currently hitting 400 in spring training and has an OPS of 855, and he also plays a really good first base.
Yeah,
Can also play other spots. And then the other thing too is with the whole conversation of, well, who backs up XYZ, if those guys go down, you have what it takes to break glass in case of emergency to make it through the game. And then guess who's getting the call immediately from El Paso? It's Sung Moon Song. It's Will Wagner. It's Mason McCoy. Like, those are the players that are coming up to back up these infielders if they get hurt. You don't need to carry them on the 26-man roster to have them back up in the infield. You really don't, Frank.
No, not at all. And for a guy like Sung Moon Song, that's what we've heard out of every report that we've heard from him in camp is he's learning. He's trying to catch up to a major league fastball, which is why I said yesterday, crank that thing up to where everything kind of slows down for him. But I don't see any harm if he does have the ability to start in the minor leagues. You've been to Texas more than I have. Would you say that San Antonio is less of a launching pad than El Paso, or no?
I mean, I've never been to a missions game. I just know the PCL is usually it's high. I mean, El Paso is still high desert, so it's higher altitude out there in El Paso. I don't think San Antonio. I don't think the Texas League is a hitter-friendly league as much as the PCL is, and it's not like El Paso definitely is, but also the thing is where they play in the PCL adds to that more than just playing in El Paso.
So I would even say maybe you start him off in AA San Antonio to kind of get him more used to major league, not just major league pitching, because there are guys that throw hard down in AA as well, but also major league results. Like if he really starts getting into it and really starts getting into balls that he's launching in El Paso that are going to be flyouts here, you give him more of the results, the major league results in AA, if that's the case, instead of starting him in AAA. And I would say that it's not that we think you're a AA player, it's we want you to get used to the game, get used to the speed of pitching, but we also want you to get the results from your input that you would get at the major leagues, which you would not get playing in the PCL. You would get enhanced results, like fly balls here, fly ball outs here would be 500-foot home runs in the PCL. We don't want you to get in that mindset either.
I don't think it'd be that big of a factor for him. I think the biggest thing is just seeing the pitches and just seeing the fast, being able to square those pitches up. I mean, if you square up a 90-something mile-an-hour fastball,
it's going to go.
Well, but also, like, even if it's a fly, they're not worried about the fly balls versus home runs and like giving him a false sense of he just needs to hit it. Like they're just working on him hitting the ball. What happens after the fact, I think is extra. I think they're just more worried about him not getting blown past a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So like having him in AAA is probably not a bad option. And then if he rakes down there, they can start using some of those results however they want.
Yeah.
But I think the main purpose is for Sung Moon Song to see the fastball first.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think they're going to lean towards that more, and maybe they don't. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what they decide to do. But to me, if Ty France and Jose Miranda have good springs and good enough where like they're ready to impact the major league club from the get go, I think Sung Moon Song's starting in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'd be the benefit of the Padres, the major league level. I think it'd be a benefit for Sung Moon Song long term. When we come back, Joe Musgrove was out there pitching today. Not in the spring training game, but on the backfields to tell you how he did on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego Sports Station 97 to the Fan. Well, we'll have the NHL back this week, but it was a big display over at the Olympics with so many NHL players representing multiple countries, obviously coming down to the big game between Team USA and Canada, gold medal matchup, and USA winning historic gold.
Yep, absolutely. First men's Olympic gold since 1980, ending Canada's best on best dominance. Jack Hughes with the overtime 3-on-3 winner over Canada in the headline moment. Bloodied, teeth lost, perseverance exemplified. But the story of the night for the United States was for sure Connor Hellebuyck. 41 save masterpiece, one of the best Olympic goaltending performances ever, and an image on Devon Taves that is going to last forever.
Canada, surprising setbacks. Sidney Crosby likely in his final Olympics, injured for the gold medal game. Josh Morrissey absent. Roster selection debates ongoing. Teen phenom Macklin Telebrini shown, but couldn't overcome the U.S. defensive effort. Powerhouse nation showing some parity. Finland got bronze, Slovakia semifinals, Sweden a little underperforming, but overall, for Team Canada, it's a tough loss, but this isn't a miracle. This is two NHL All-Star teams competing at a high level and getting to the golden goal.
Yeah, this is two NHL powerhouses, and both these teams, we said it, with the route that they took to get to where they were, the games last week, we thought against Sweden and Czechia, we thought were going to be the toughest games, and they proved to be. We didn't think they were going to be as tough as they were, forcing both the U.S. and Canada to go into overtime, but they struggled against those teams. Now they playing each other. They also go to overtime. Also, you had the two women's teams going to overtime against each other. So, I mean, it was the perfect send-off for the Olympics this year, and one that I'm sure the Olympics was very happy that they got.
And they got the ice ready in time, too.
Yes.
That was an event that almost never happened.
Yep.
Because of the situation in Milan. Let's talk about some of the standouts and the disappointing NHL players, Frank. Let's start with some of the standout NHL players who represented their countries. No surprise that it's mostly Team USA and Team Canada players.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie McAvoy, player for a defender for the Boston Bruins, played very, very well on defense. Quinn Hughes for the Minnesota Wild, top pairing, key playoff style performances out of him. Jack Hughes, his brother, playing for the New Jersey Devils, got the golden goal. He'll be remembered forever. Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers for Team Canada, tournament MVP, Canada's leading scorer. You also had Jack Eichel, forward for the Vegas Golden Knights, complete two-way game, anchored that top line. One of the players for the Canadians who played for the, I believe that's a Slovakian team, Yuri Slavkovsky, I believe. Sorry, led Slovakia to the semifinals, 7 points in 4 games. You also had Tage Thompson as well, underused but highly effective, contributed to the U.S. gold. Player for the Buffalo Sabres, had a very, very good tournament as well.
Let's look at some of the disappointments. No surprise with the way that Sweden disappointed that they're going to have some disappointments on this list.
Yeah, certainly. Sam Reinhart, forward for the Carolina Panthers, ineffective in limited top 6 minutes. William Nylander for Team Sweden for the Toronto Maple Leafs, needed more of him. He's one of the top paid players on the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's also one of the reasons why the Maple Leafs lost Mitch Marner. Was because they had to pay William Nylander's salary. Former Anaheim Duck, current Pittsburgh Penguin, Ricard Raquel, had minimal impact for Sweden in limited time on ice. Philip Forsberg for the Nashville Predators, also very underwhelming. And Ducks goalkeeper for Czechia, Lucas Dostal, he was good, but he was just inconsistent with a .886 save percentage. Not good enough.
So now looking forward to the second half of the NHL season, we're going to get NHL hockey back later this week. But Gold medalist returned to the NHL with confidence. Hellebuck has got to go into the second half of the season fired up. The Hughes brothers.
I don't know how fired up he'll be playing for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the other thing, too, is playing in Canada for Canadian teams when you are an American. Eichel, Larkin, McAvoy, and others could impact the playoff pushes with what they did.
Yeah, absolutely. You also got to look at momentum versus fatigue. Will Olympic success translate to the NHL, to NHL performance immediately? Some players may carry over momentum. Others might face a little bit of wear and tear. This is kind of a normal NHL break, though. You got about 4 or 5 days between. Sometimes the NHL plays back to back. They get 4 days after that. So the schedule kind of stays the same. Plus, they also had a long layoff waiting for the end of the NHL season and then to start the
because everybody always asked about the El Paso thing. Like, well, why if everybody talks about how you can't view the offensive numbers or pitching numbers in El Paso, why do the Padres have a team in El Paso? It's not just the city of El Paso. It is the entire Pacific Coast League. And the Padres obviously want a team relative at the AAA level, relatively close to their city, but not too close where it's, it turns into competition for fans. I mean, that's what a lot of major league teams do. And when you look at the cities or the teams in these cities, they're in high altitude areas. So it's not just El Paso, it is the Pacific Coast League in general. Like Las Vegas, high desert. Reno, high altitude. Salt Lake, high altitude. Tacoma Rainiers, high altitude. Some of the ones in the El Paso division itself, not as high altitude, but obviously El Paso is. So from that perspective, like there's only a handful of minor league cities that they can move the team to. That's why they haven't moved them out of El Paso. Plus they didn't find there. It's not the end of the world. But most of the cities in the Pacific Coast League are high altitude areas.
Like I said, move them to that sports complex in Chula Vista.
It's too close. You also don't want to have minor league teams close to you where fans can go to those games for cheaper and stuff. Like there's a business side of that too.
Imagine not having to wait on a flight for somebody to come in though.
Right. Right.
It'll never happen, I know.
But at the same time, like again, Salt Lake, Reno, Vegas, Albuquerque, El Paso, that's all part of the mountain range right there in the Rocky Mountain range. So Sierra Nevada mountain range, whatever it may be. But that's why they haven't moved any of those guys yet or moved the team. I mean, they had a team in Tucson for a little bit. Tucson's also high desert. Ball flies in a lot of those dry places too. Ball flies in the desert because it's, gets hot and all that stuff. So a lot of these places are very much on the West Coast, it seems like, launching pads for organizations. And then on the other side of the country, and what's the other AAA league on the East Coast? I forget what it is, but they're more of a pitchers friendly league. I mean, you're going to have those leagues in different parts of the country. It's just it is what it is.
That's one I should know. AAA is the International League. That's what I thought it was. It's the International Leagues East and West. That's what they've got out there. Then it's the PCL.
Right. The International League is more for pitchers than anything else. So that's why they do that. Anyway, Joe Musgrove threw in a simulated game today.
No, you had it right. Through a simulated game today. And Kevin Acey had the report. So he threw a
3-inning simulated game, 35 pitches, and then asked for one more to finish the inning. Nice. Recorded 9 outs against 12 batters. And the mission today for Joe Musgrove was to reach the third inning and test fatigue response. The key takeaways, according to this report, wanted to feel tired and see if his stuff held. Reported velocity and movement stayed intact. Coming out of this feeling the best I have felt, which is all great news, Frank.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear out of a guy who's been out for as long as he has with Tommy John surgery. And he said he's mostly been able to have a normal off season, but still there are some things that he needs to work on. And there are some things that he needs to build off of. And this is one of those things, being able to handle stress and how his body reacts to being on for X amount of pitches and seeing how his body reacts the day or two after.
Stuff and velocity check. Fastball hit 95 today for Joe. Slider and sinker was located well. Arm side. Curveball felt good. Working on a new slider shape. Some inconsistency, but promising flashes. And only pitch not fully dialed in was his changeup today. But encouraging signs for a pitcher 16 months removed from Tommy John surgery. Like where the velo's at. Like that he was throwing all of his pitches. Obviously, he felt ready to go going into spring training, but you got to build up with some of these game reps. In the simulated game, sounds like things have checked out for Joe. You like the way that the fastball is at 95 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Tommy John is not the be all end all the way it used to be. I mean, everyone gets them. They're high school pitchers somehow miraculously getting Tommy John surgery now. So it's not the be all end all like it used to be. There's a very likely chance that if he's taken his recovery properly, hasn't overstressed himself, doing anything he shouldn't be doing too early, there's a very good chance he could come back to be as good or close enough to what he used to be.
He missed the 2025 season, obviously, with the Tommy John surgery back in October of 2024. In 2024, 3.88 ERA, 101 strikeouts, and 99 2/3 innings. Pitched through elbow pain the entire season. I mean, he didn't look right for a lot of 2024. He looked like he was pitching hurt. And the end of the season surge before the shutdown, 2 runs over the final 18 regular season innings, 1 run allowed in the wild card game before exiting. And from 2021 to 2024, he's had a 3.20 ERA, 10th among MLB starters, a 4.13 strikeout to walk ratio, 13th for MLB starters, and production came despite recurring injuries. When he's healthy, he's a really big pitcher in Major League Baseball, and a big reason why the Padres gave him the money that they gave him originally. And I just like this approach for Joe going into the season to get up to speed and be ready to go. And obviously he's thinking about numbers and or how many starts and thinking about rest. I like where he's at already from the get-go, and hopefully he can just hold up for a big part of the season. But the Padres approach, pitching coach Ruben Niebla says he's full go, but we're watching him. And they're going to monitor workload early in the season. Musgrove is likely to make his next appearance in a Cactus League game, and the evaluation is day-to-day. Delicate balance between urgency and caution for Joe Musgrove, but I think they're playing this right, Frank. I really do.
Yeah, and I think Joe's also mentally, he's taken it properly, which is why I was so nervous about him pitching at the end of last season, so adamant that he doesn't, because if he rushes something as big as this and has a major issue, that could mean a lot more than just the 2026 season. So I'm very, very happy to hear everything that's coming out of Padre camp. I'm happy to hear everything about how Joe Musgrove is feeling. Do not be surprised early in the season, maybe the first month, maybe 2, if he's getting pulled earlier than you would have thought. If you're seeing Michael King and Pivetta throwing 100 pitches and you see Joe pitching 75 to 80 in the first 2 months of the season, this is all part of the plan. It's all part of the recovery. It's all a part of the process.
Padres rotation stability definitely depends heavily on Joe Musgrove.
Yes.
At age 33, coming off of a major elbow surgery, team is counting on him to resemble 2021 to 2024. And if he's close to peak form, the rotation ceiling rises significantly. And we haven't even talked about some of the arms that haven't thrown yet that are non-roster invitees. I mean, we've talked a lot about the position players today. We haven't taken that deeper of a dive into the starting pitching yet because we haven't seen Walker Buehler and we haven't seen Herman Marquez. We've seen Tristan McKenzie, And we've seen JP Sears, but we haven't seen some of the others that are battling for rotation spots, which leads to a question that we're going to answer on the other side after an update from the Padres, by the way, as they are in Goodyear against Cincinnati. But how much do the Padres rely on Joe Musgrove this year? And should the Padres cap Joe Musgrove even if he's dominant? Conversation that we're going to have when we come back to finish the show. San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. San Diego Gulls are hitting the stretch run of the AHL season, and the past week has shown exactly what this team is capable of: resiliency, depth scoring, and playoff-style hockey. But it's also exposed some rough edges, closing out games and maintaining intensity on back-to-back nights. Let's break down what happened and what's coming up next. First off, they made a roster move. Ian Moore has been reassigned. Big news out of Anaheim. Defenseman Ian Moore was reassigned to the San Diego Gulls before the beginning of last week. 24-year-old Moore has 9 points in 41 NHL games this season and recorded his first NHL goal back in November. Add some size, 6'3", 205, and experience to a Gulls defensive core that has been productive but could use some depth. He was at Harvard, and he scored 56 points in 122 games, so he's capable of moving the puck and contributing offensively.
Yeah, absolutely. At the same time, Colson Petrie and Connor Smith were sent to the ECHL affiliate in Tulsa to balance out their roster. Moore's arrival is definitely worth watching because he can provide the kind of two-way stability that the Gulls need as they make this playoff push as the AHL season starts to wind down.
It was a tough week last week for the Gulls. I mean, they came up empty a couple of times. They did get a point, at least in the shootout loss to San Jose, and that's where we're going to start. Back on February 18th, last week, during the week, the Barracuda beat the Gulls 4-3 in shootouts. Ryan Carpenter scored with 4.5 seconds left to tie it. Gulls take 1 point. Carpenter now has 27 points. Roland McCone leads defenseman with 19 points. Justin Bailey continues to lead the team with goals at 17. Goals set at 22, 15, 6, and 4 after that game, keeping them right there in the Pacific Division picture. But Coach McIlvain stressed lessons in closing out leads, noting that the second period gave San Jose a window back into the game. And Carpenter's late heroics show the team's resilience, but they need to finish stronger. I mean, we've been discussing the Gulls these last couple of weeks. They've been resilient, but they're not getting it in the win column, Frank.
Yeah, there's always that one bogey period, it seems like. And in this case against San Jose, it was the second period. Also a five-round shootout as well. So they went a distance in that shootout as well. So still a rough loss. Very happy, though, to at least get 1 point on the board with how tight everything is in the West.
Over the weekend, they played the Rockford Ice Hogs. Didn't have that much success. Again, coming up just short. They lost 5-4 on February 21st over on Saturday. They erased 3 separate deficits and went 3 for 3 on the power play to pull to just get close there. Sasha Pastuva had 3-point night, including 2 power play goals, his first multi-power play goal game of the AHL. Ryan Carpenter added his second straight multi-point effort. Stanton Solberg had his first career 2-goal game, now second among rookie defensemen in goals. Matthew Phillips, 200th career AHL assist, and Callie Klein earned his 12th win of the season. So, yeah, they ended up eking out a victory over the Rockford Ice Hogs 5-4. But, again, a very close game for the Gulls. They had to keep coming back from deficits.
Yeah, you're going to have to play from underneath every now and again, but to continuously put yourself in a position to where you're doing that night after night really, really wears down on you. So, and you're going to see it coming up with what happened on Sunday night.
Yeah, 2-1 loss to the Rockford Ice Hogs. Tighter contest. Nathan Gauthier had scored his 7th goal. Thomas Sichanek stopped 27 to 29 shots. Goals went 0 for 3 in the power play, though, a stark contrast from the night before.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach McIlvain emphasizing the importance of executing with the puck and staying sharp on back-to-back. So now you're at a point where you're sitting at 23, 16, 6, and 4. Points in 7 of their last 8 games. Playoff position currently on the line as they sit 6th place, in the Pacific behind teams like Colorado, Ontario, and Bakersfield.
A loss in shootouts, a 5-4 win at Rockford, a 2-1 loss at Rockford, and it's getting down to some pretty tight games. Again, the resiliency, but not getting the the results in the win column that you would like. As you mentioned, 6th in the Pacific Division, behind teams like Colorado, Ontario, and Bakersfield. Few points out of a top 3 positioning, which is huge for them because you might be able to host. And the depth scoring is proving essential for the San Diego Gulls. But the problem is it's the...
Say that again.
Reds have a 5-3 lead on the Padres.
There you go.
There it is.
We were still playing the video, and this audio does not go over the video during the break. So,
well, that makes sense, as it should. David Morgan went an inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Miguel Mendez kind of ran into some issues. 2/3 of an inning, he's still pitching. 2 earned runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Reds have taken a 5-3 lead on the Padres. Manny Machado homer today. We talked about that last update, but Machado's homered, so that's fun. He's getting locked in for the WBC. Again, only a handful of players today for the Padres that are starters because the fact they're on the road. They don't have to put as many in the lineup. Tatis, Machado, Sheets are those guys. Anyway, Jake Waters goes, can we keep the show going for another 2.5 hours of work that I have to do?
do you want to pay us?
Yeah, go ahead. Drop it in the thing. Give us a donation. Give us a super chat that's worth like, I can't say that legally. They're going to be like, you can't say that. So I'm not going to say that. I need the All-Star Game incentives. There it is, Frank. We have come full circle now.
We have.
Shout out to Glenn that said, I'd love to see the Santa Barbara be the AAA affiliate of the Padres. Go play in a stadium over there in Santa Barbara. When I first read his type, he had a typo. So he did Santa Barbara. I thought, I was like, Santa Narnia? You have to go through a wardrobe to get there?
I mean, just
Turkish Delight.
I mean, as long as we don't get like a work email about it, you know.
We didn't talk about that today. So this is a different audience now at this point.
Yes.
Then do you have that clip ready to go?
I do, yes.
Thank you, Jake. Appreciate it. The nice. So I'm driving into work today, and the morning show. I got an email. We all got a station-wide email from Adam this morning, and as I'm driving into work, I'm listening to Ben and Woods talk about some stuff. They're like, well, we have a little bit of issue here. We have a little bit of an issue here in studio. We're all fine collectively, but. And they had to explain it to Woods of what he basically did. So they go to break. There's not like a long break. And Woods had just finished eating his yogurt. And he goes to the bathroom. So on the way out, he takes a spoon with him, right? Because he's gonna drop it off dishwasher and stuff. Okay? So he leaves. Adam had walked into the studio to talk to the boys about XYZ. I don't, whatever. He, as a good rule follower, left his coffee outside on the little table that's right outside because you're not supposed to have food and drink in here. So Adam, with his open container of coffee, leaves it on the side table just outside the door here. Woods comes back in and he drops his dirty spoon into the cup, thinking it was an empty coffee cup. Oh, it's not an empty coffee cup. Oh, no. No, it's not. That was Adam's coffee still in said coffee cup. Now, Woods, to his defense, thought he was just going to take it all with him to the dishwasher in the kitchen. He just drops it in there, and Adam goes like, well, I guess I was going to get I was going to get more coffee, but I guess I just will have to get a new cup, as he has the used yogurt spoon dunked into his coffee. And Woods is like, dude, I had no idea like about any of that. I literally just, I didn't recognize that it had coffee in there and stuff. Dropped the spoon in there. So gross. I immediately thought of one thing.
Yep, here is your certified George Costanza moment.
Was that wrong?
Should I not have done that? I tell you, I got to plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here that sort of thing was frowned upon, because I've worked in a lot of offices, and I tell you, people do that all the time.
So
Was that wrong? I gotta hear that part again. It's so funny.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you.
That needs to be a drop.
I gotta plead ignorance on this one.
Was that wrong? Poor Woods, dude. And then on top of that, so we got an email from Adam Stationwide about like when you take time off and like give me enough time to get, at least a week, maybe, 2 weeks would be preferred, but 1 week minimum before you request off. I get this email. I immediately think of, did I request off like 2 days ago for next week? Did I do something? That's always my inclination on any of these Stationwide emails. And I went into this, I drove into work and I heard them explain this part too. So they had already planned for Woods to be missing tomorrow. But here you have to fill out a time off request so everybody knows. And Woods forgot to do that part of the time off request. So he requested off tomorrow for today, which then inside of the email. And this all happened in a span of like 20 minutes. The poor guy, I just back to back. And they're all like everything. Woods defended himself on the morning show today. They're justifiable defenses. I mean, he thought the cup was already dirty. He was going to take it to the kitchen. He had already talked to Adam on the phone before he forgot who he talked to about who he was taking the time off. They already had planned it as a show. Like, I get where he's coming from, Frank. I really do. But that was a George Costanza moment.
Yep, it really was. Yep, that was pure Costanza right there. It is hilarious.
Frank walked in and called him Mr. Costanza. It's a foul. I mean, it's definitely, you got to give him a foul for sticking your used yogurt spoon into your boss's coffee. So, okay, maybe not justifiable. It's understandable.
It wasn't, but
it's understandable. He didn't notice that there was coffee in there.
But it's also not his cup.
Yeah, but there's always like used cups out there that are empty.
There's always used cups in the back studio that don't get taken out of there. He decided all of a sudden that this is the one he's taking back. This is the one. I got this one, boys. Lay back. I got this one.
I understand it. If he's just walking back in the studio, just drops his spoon into an empty coffee cup, I get it. But if he didn't notice the coffee cup, if he didn't notice there was coffee in the cup, I don't know what to tell you. What color cup is it? I mean,
funny.
I have a
dark
coffee cup where you can't really tell if there's coffee in there.
Everyone in this office minds their own business when it comes to empty mugs.
They're just all over the place.
Until the one time Woodsy tries to do it, and it's the wrong
and it actually
mug.
has coffee in it. Unreal. No, because I'm the only one that has an Army Navy Yeti. Go Aztecs. It's understandable to me. I think it's understandable with the amount of cups that we have on that outside counter that are usually empty, that need to be taken to the kitchen, that aren't. It's understandable to me that he dropped it into a cup that he thought did not have coffee in it, because he was going to take both items back to the kitchen. I get that.
It's a navy blue Odyssey. It's our Odyssey bluish purplish mug. That's what it is. It's got orange Odyssey written on it.
Hang on a second. Was there coffee in there?
I have no idea.
Because Nate's saying there wasn't coffee in there.
Adam just said there was an empty cup.
It was empty?
That's what Adam said.
It was empty. You know what? Then I understand it even more now. It's an empty cup.
Yeah, empty mug, yeah.
Now, when I was listening on the way in, it didn't really sound like it was an empty mug, which made it even more disgusting.
Just as funny.
Now it's you know
disgusting.
What? Not only is it understandable, now it's justified. All right, it's an empty cup right there. If it's empty, I get it now.
Yeah,
I was picturing it
what's
to
he
be
pleading ignorance
to
on
have
this one?
coffee in there, which is disgusting. That's a foul. But the fact that it's empty, I mean, who knows? There's empty cups all over this place.
Right. And that's another thing about it is that's what I was saying is like the one time Woodsy doesn't mind his own business and picks up an empty mug that's just laying around is the wrong one.
Yeah, the one time, he's trying to help the ball club out, clean up some of the mugs all over the place in the Odyssey Palace. You know what? I get it, man. I get it.
Brother put the bat and batting helmet away for the guy who just took it out because he's going to the on-deck circle.
Because
That's
he's a pinch
exactly
hitter.
what he did. He's trying to keep the dugout a little bit cleaner than normal. He says, you know what? This is my New Year's resolution. It's starting a couple months late, but hey, let me help clean up a little bit. You shouldn't have cleaned that one up.
It's now 8-3 Reds in the bottom of the fifth.
We're starting to lose hope in this one, aren't we?
Oh man. The Reds are playing everybody today. Friedel, McLean, De La Cruz. And they've been going against Miguel Mendez, who has now been removed from the game 2/3 of an inning, 4 earned runs, 3 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. And now Yeager's in, and he's given up an earned run on a hit and a walk. He has not gotten it out yet. I agree with one. The empty cup changes the scope of the story. I thought there was coffee in there, which makes it disgusting and a foul. Understandable slightly, not really. Now it's understandable and justifiable because of the amount of cups that we have outside
we need like a VAR and umpire call of no foul, or the call's been overturned or something.
Hey, right here.
Yeah, that's
take a peek.
Yeah, well, people can't see you tapping the side of your headset on the radio.
They can hear. They heard the tapping.
I couldn't hear it, and I've got you directly in my ears. You
don't listen a lot though, too. So maybe
I'm listening now. I'm sitting here staring at you.
Jake says foul on Adam. I don't think Adam gets a foul on that. But the other thing is, like, the story. Here's what doesn't make sense about the story. Adam didn't bring the mug in to talk. It's empty though. Why wasn't he just holding the mug still? Why did he have to put it down?
Because there's no food and drinks allowed.
It's empty. It's an empty mug.
There are absolutely no food or drinks allowed in the studio.
Yeah. What?
Not allowed to have drinks in here.
Not allowed to drink. Have coffee in here. Or?
Nope. Absolutely nothing.
Self-incriminating. I heard there might be tacos next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So
I got yelled at last time. I tried to tease that, so I'm just going to sit over here quietly.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's who it was. Nice. That's awesome.
Oh, there you go.
We saw the picture.
Yeah, he just sent us the shirt.
Yeah, that's great. We love it. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
Adam is on the hotline. He does know that we've got like 5.
That's the. Oh, is that the hotline or the warrant? That's the All Studios line. I mean, that could be a different Adam. It's the New York Stock Exchange.
Yeah, hold on.
What he wants to talk about. So anyway, definitely not a foul on Adam. We're about to end. Anyway, shout out to you guys. Appreciate the T-shirt. If you had your name on there, I'd give you a shout out for the name. Gwen and Chris are coming up next. Is that Adam? What's he talking about? Maybe we'll find out tomorrow. Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego's #1 sports station.
He said the mug was empty, and instead of holding an empty mug, he put it down.
Oh, all right. We'll find out more tomorrow.
Padres, Mariners, Cactus League Baseball on the Fan.
This one is way back. Gonna go!
Our coverage begins Saturday at noon. The Padres play here on 97.3 The Fan.
It's Ben from Ben & Woods, and basketball Ben in his element right now with Prize Picks, because you can